Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Get excited, make some noise, clap it up wherever you are. We're back, we're here, off the backs of a phenomenal weekend with more stuff to discuss with you in the world of sports today. We got so much to talk about. Shakur dominating Zepeda. What's the worst going to happen now with Shakur and Tank, as it's been a one of the biggest hot button issues and the matchup everybody now wants to see more than ever before. On top of that, we still got stuff coming up this weekend. Also, the road to mega fights has still not ended. We still got Usyk versus Daniel Dubois happening this weekend. We got Ben Rodriguez versus Kafu. We got a whole bunch of stuff, and we have a lot. It's a lot. It is a doozy of a time and a doozy of work that we're gonna have to go through and implement. But it's all with you today that we get to discuss it, and also have it with you all right now. So hey, if you're tuning in, full disclosure, as we get the intros going through, leave a like on the stream. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead, leave a like and get the likes up on the stream, and and make it so that your voice or this show can be seen to the masses. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below so we can have your thoughts and words be heard and seen throughout the populace of this show. Like with Teach, what's good with you, Teach? Hey man, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here, and please comment your thoughts, or not comment, or you say comment your thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube and on every or with anything that we do right here on this show. And share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. That's right, you and me, we can make this whole thing go around. We can build this empire, this community, this monolith together, all with your support. Because, hey, I can't do this without you, and I love doing this with you all, and we can make this thing bigger and better, no question about it. Also, if you want to support while we're waiting and looking to get the monetization for the show, Cash App, PayPal, links in the description as well. If you would be willing to do it, it would mean the world to me. It would help keep the lights on and have us be able to invest back into the show more and more and more. So we appreciate it oh so much. Glad you took some time out to go and see what we got to offer. But without further ado, all that promotion aside, we got fights to cover. We got boxing to talk about. And since we do, it is time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. That's right. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going underway. And what else do we need to discuss outside of the biggest dominating factor of this weekend, which was, to the shock of everybody, Shakur Stevenson. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we just saw this man pull off one of his, excuse me, let me rephrase it. It wasn't one of his performances. It wasn't one of his best outings. It was unabashedly, unequivocally, absolutely Shakur Stevenson's best fight of his career, bar none. Bar none. There has been no better fight in Shakur Stevenson's career than this fight that he had against William Zepeda. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you. We watched this live, and this was a fight where everything I said I wanted to see Shakur finally put on display. Unloading the clip in terms of all of his technical ability, utilizing his offense to the fullest of his extent. He finally did it. Finally. After what? years of strife, years of, he's almost there. The brother finally did what he needed to do and came up and performed like to the fullest of his extent as the legitimate, phenomenal boxer that he is. This was great. This was the best performance of his career, bar none. Let me see what you got to say. Listen, Coach Eddie, what's going on, Coach? How you doing? Glad to see that you're coming back on the show. Good to see you. Let me see what you got to say. Shakur needs to stay away from Conor. Really? Now, we can talk about it. We're going to talk about it later on in the night as well, because I know they both of them were on the show with Ariel Helwani talking about a potential fight between each other excuse me, shoot, I don't know if it's going to be in the States or over in the UK. Whatever the case may be, that off the backs of this fight, that's an interesting fight now. It is. And I got some thoughts on that. With the moniker of the show, we're going to address it later on. But I promise you, see what I tell you. What I tell you already. We got. I told you now. This was gonna be one. This is one of them topics that is something that everybody is looking to really see. And because Shakur now off the backs of this win has just put himself as one definitively one of the two men to beat, and he went from a boring fighter to, brother, I want to see this against some of the most exciting fighters in all of the division, because everybody's saying now, oh, that would make for an intriguing fight. All of a sudden, ain't it crazy? Ain't it crazy? The way the tables turn in the conversation off of one performance, ain't it insane? Were we not just listening to the public eye going about the likes of Shakur and being unwatchable, unwanted, unloved, and was tired of being seen by the boxing public? People were not scared, excuse me. People were saying, nobody's scared of this brother. He ain't got no punching power. He is just, he only runs, doesn't want to fight. He is a punk, all this other stuff under the sun. But at the same time, now we are seeing this man before our eyes be put in, hey, everybody wants to see everybody versus Shakur, which is I'm not gonna lie, it's a categorically shocking flip per se from what we expected, but I love it. I'm excited. These are the talks I wanted to see Shakur be in for the longest time. This is where I know he could be at. This is the excitement I knew he could bring to the table, and now we're starting to get there finally. And this is why we always say, you're only as good as your last fight. And now, everybody sees Shakur. I don't care if you love him or hate him. You can no longer say, hey, this brother is only hype. You can't. You can't. You can no longer say that Shakur Stevenson is only hype, only name, isn't really credible, isn't really right. This brother's legit. He's legit. I'm telling you, let me see. Dante Guy, what's good with you? Is that right? Yeah. Dante Guy, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the Welch Report. If it's your first time, please subscribe to the show. Please subscribe to the show. Come join the Empire. Let your voice be heard and let yourself be a part of this army of a community. Absolutely. We're small, but we're growing, and we appreciate your time. No question about it. 147 over in the UK. That would be an insanely exciting environment. Oh, my gosh, imagine 80,000, 70,000 fans over in the UK all going for Conor Ben and Shakur being in enemy territory, having to put on another display like this against William Zepeda and doing it in such a hostile situation. Oh, the moment would be incredible. I would love to see it. No question about it. Shakur gets smoked. So we got differentiating frames of thought, my goodness, off the backs of this Zepeda performance. And we might have to cover this first before we even break down the fight in and of itself with Shakur versus Zepeda. But let me keep on reading the comments already, because everybody's got their opinions now. Let me see, El Pinchy, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. Glad to see you coming back. Listen, nobody's asking for that fight. It's ridiculous. Not really. Now again, yes, Shakur is at 135, and yes, Conor Ben's at 147. But with the age of Shakur and with him constantly growing and getting bigger, day by day, year by year, that fight is not too far off. Couple that with the fact that Conor Ben, I guess, might be operating at his best at 147, though he fought at 160 against Chris Eubanks Jr. it ain't out the question to say that in real maybe a year or two. Maybe a year or two. We see Shakur, because we saw Devin Haney within, a year or two, go from 135, 140, 147, and bing, bang, boom. All of a sudden now he's in the same weight class with Brian Norman Jr. Oh my gosh. Nobody thought that was going to happen. So it is in the realm of our conversation that it can take place. That's why these are talks that are going through. Conor Ben doesn't want that fight. You can hear it in his voice. Shakur should let that man get his world title. Hey, look, I think he actually does. I think he does want that fight. Because again, Conor Ben, we can say we want about the drugs. We can say we want about PEDs, the 20,000 eggs, whatever the word he was eating, which again is ridiculous as a lie. Still, that he is one of the other people. Don't duck smoke. And I guarantee you, after the war he went through with Eubanks Jr., I promise you he feels like, okay, yeah, I got enough size and power, and I definitely got the speed to give Shakur all he can handle. At least with the speed, I can say I can give him some real work. And coming down from a larger weight class, it can be some real danger. It can. And I'm dead serious. It can. So because of that, we have to, I promise you, he feels confident. I guarantee you about that. If Shakur didn't destroy Zepeda, y'all love to exaggerate. No. See, here's the thing. When he did, it was still a competitive fight, but it was all-encompassing dominance. Still, he fought, and we're gonna, again, let me go through, and I'll break down the fight, and I'll tell you why I say destroy in the topic of the show. That's all right. So let me read the chats. Then we'll get into the breakdown of the fight, or at least my thoughts on it. And then we're going to have all this other discussion with, again, matchups, dreams, and all the like. But let me keep on reading. Look up definition of destruction. What Sheeraz did to Berlanga was destruction. Yep, you're right about that as well. No question about it. Let me see. Hey, yo, what's up? I make videos. I do too. And I'm glad you took some time out to watch my video, watch my live stream. Love to see you here. Let me see what you got to say on the show. Shakur ain't show me anything. One good performance out of 15 isn't enough for me. I'm sorry. Well, I respect the opinion. This was again the best performance of his career in my eyes. But he's had more than just one quality opponent, one quality outing. Again, Jamal Herring, Oscar Valdez, Yoshino going up from 130 when he initially was going to 135. Hartunian, who mind you had a real war against the likes of Frank Martin, who would have beaten Frank Martin if he hadn't got knocked down or taken a knee in that last round. He's had copious amounts of quality opponents and quality outings as well. This is just one of the best in my estimation. But again, I respect the opinion, but I disagree. Strongly, I disagree. But again, we'll have this conversation as we keep on going through. Let me see. J Riggs, what's going on with you? How you doing? Thanks so much for tuning in the show. So glad that you. How's it going, Preacher Man? And crew, I gotta admit, Shakur was too slick. Probably the slickest in the game. Yeah, brother. Yeah, man. This was the ultimate showing of what it means to be a slick fighter, at least from Shakur's stylistic standpoint. It was absolutely beautiful. No question about it. Shakur need to go undisputed at 135 or go to 140 and fight Africa or Matias. Look, hey, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. But at 135, definitely see if you can go and achieve undisputed now after this performance. No question about it. Oh, the world is your oyster. Yeah, and we think the toughest opposition would be Gervonta Davis, which again has always been the matchup. But even with that being said, there's many people saying right now, hey brother, this man, he could do it. He could take all the belts. Potentially easier than many people may have expected when it came to before this type of performance from what was seen as a very boring fighter in Shakur Stevenson. Keep on waiting. He was swimming without getting wet. No, yes, he was swimming without getting wet. Boxing flawlessly, reading and reacting, being comfortable in the heat of the fire, and being able to always land everything perfectly. It was a phenomenal performance. Stevenson will go back to Tom and Jerry versus the Puncher. Well, I hope not. Again, we're going to talk about that. In fact, let's break down the fight, shall we? Hold on. Let's take some time. Let's break down the fight real quick, and let's talk about what we saw in that fight. What we saw with Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson as we're going through and breaking down this whole event that took place. Shakur was able to do what I have been saying he could do over 2 years ago, which was legitimately box in the heat of danger. When I was telling you roughly a year or two ago that Shakur Stevenson was holding back, that Shakur Stevenson was not letting all of his offense go and not letting the full breadth of his abilities shine forth, because as we saw in interviews, he had consistently said, if you're in danger, if you're at the start of a fight, a person is dangerous. At the end of a fight, a person is dangerous. When somebody's hurt, a person is dangerous. So if somebody's dangerous at all times, you don't take any chances at any point in time. That was Shakur's mentality. But when he fought out of that mentality, my gosh, this is what I knew we could do. This is what I knew we could do. This is the type of stuff I knew we could do. And he did everything. He was able to sit in the pocket. He was walking Zepeda down, as well as letting Zepeda fight in the corner where Zepeda wanted Shakur to be, and completely picking off everything that Zepeda wanted to do. Make it again. Yes, he did get tagged with the jab in the ropes that did wobble him. Yes, he was more so off balance than anything else in that fight. I watched the replay a couple times to make sure that was right. He wasn't necessarily hurt, but he was able to mitigate everything. Zepeda wasn't able to do a thing even with all the volume that he was doing. It was ridiculous. It was preposterous. It was insane. Zepeda threw 700 punches and landed 200. Shakur slipped 500 punches. That means the defensive master and still got work to do. His defensive master still got work to do on his defense, but he will be great. Just watch, brother. We have already, and again, you're not wrong. Everybody can improve when it comes to boxing as a whole. Shakur still has not reached the pinnacle of his abilities, but already we were saying this man is both statistically and from a eyes standpoint the best defensive boxer in the world today, and he can get better, which is horrifying, which is insane. But what he did was finally blend that defensive slickness with an actual offensive output that worked. Or rather, no, not only that worked, that was just as slick and so effective. We compared this man to Floyd Mayweather after this performance, because this is the type of stuff we saw Floyd do consistently throughout his career. Be able to be defensive and constantly catch, counter, and just dominate you with precision and accuracy, though he had more pop in his younger days, but have the ability to be able to mitigate everything about you, not running, not just by using the ring, not just by using footwork, but being able to be right there. Shakur fought Zepeda. Shakur, again, I said this when we watched the live stream. Shakur collectively moved in terms of like what many people would call running, or deliberately used his feet for upwards of 3 minutes, collectively 1 round. And that was in the last 2 rounds when he had already dominated the fight. And he was using his jab as he was moving and actually had some distance versus William Zepeda. But before that, he was right there in the fire with Zepeda. He was going at literally head to head in fighting with Zepeda. Shot for shot, catch and counter in the pocket. Slick work, being able to be in a Philly shell, on the ropes, in the corner. 80% of this fight, Zepeda had Shakur in the corner, and Zepeda was not able to have any level of success at all. That output was completely null and void. It was. Yes, Zepeda landed some shots. I'm not saying Zepeda didn't land anything, but he landed some shots. He did, and Shakur took them well. But that was few and far between. Mind you, Dante just brought up Zepeda threw 700 punches. You're absolutely right. But Shakur only threw like 300 less or 200 less. I think Shakur threw like 500. Which again, also with his hands, Shakur's hands are healthy. We can say that now definitively. His hands are healthy. The brother threw almost 500 punches in this fight, and still outlanded Zepeda in total punches landed and in power punches landed. That's ridiculous. That's insane. And did it in Zepeda's domain. He beat Zepeda at Zepeda's own game, or at Zepeda's own game. He beat Shakur Stevenson, beat William Zepeda where Zepeda wanted to be. He did not make Zepeda have to fight a fight that was, hard to find Shakur. Shakur was right there with him and did not budge, was standing like a tree, willing to trade, willing to sit in the bucket, willing to take chances and counter, willing to go through and land his own type of damaging offense on Zepeda. And most of the time, it was landed. The brother landed 56%. 56% for the entirety of the night. That's preposterous. Holding Zepeda to 30%. That is ridiculous levels of defense and offense combination. That is what we mean when we talk about a boxer. The whole conversation, boxing versus running, this is what we mean. This is what we mean. This is the type of stuff we wanted to see. Having the ability to engage often, but still, you're fighting your style. But you are doing it with all the technique and all the firepower that you have at your disposal. This is the pinnacle of what we mean by that. These are the performances that we can't let be forgotten. Because this is what we mean when we talk about the sweet science in this sport. And there's really no excuse anybody can really say for what Shakur did. There's not, I don't know what you can say about this. Because he fought in a manner that we said was impossible for him. Partially because of his hands, but also because of his mentality. All of a sudden, hands look like they're ready to go. Everything seems to be legitimately healthy. And mentality-wise, at least with this fight, brother, he fought with everything he had. And he said it after the press conference, or in the press conference after the fight. He went to prove a point. And I get it. He shut everybody up. He shut a lot of people up. But I'm telling you right now, this type of Shakur Stevenson is the best type of Shakur Stevenson. Yes, it's more risky. And sure, he'll probably curtail it back a little bit. He probably won't be this same level of so much in the pocket for the rest of his career. Because he said himself he took too much punishment. Okay, fine. He'll probably roll it back a little bit. But if this is still a dominant aspect to his game, and he does implement more of a moving style, looks to create more space off of his jab, and using his feet more like he used to, or like he normally does, while still being able to box in the pocket like he did today. Brother, it's going to be hard to beat boy, this man, undisputed, forget out the question. Undisputed and then moving up and dominating the same way at 140 could also be a legitimate thing. And if this brother gets big enough at 147, he could also be a dominant fighter. I'm telling you, this man, he showed why he was touted as a talent. Again, maybe not accolades. Accolades and with everything, he's not pound for pound. Yet. Not yet. But with talent, strictly talent. That's the reason why this brother's seen as a top 10 pound for pound talent in all the boxing. This man's the truth. This man's true. And mind you, I've been a brother who has been has had criticism, my gosh, I'm so sorry, has had criticism of him in the past. We unbiased on this show. We don't give one way or the other. I got my favorite fighters, sure, but you all deserve as much of an unbiased perspective as we can. And I've been critical about Shakur Stevenson when it came to the way that he fights and how this is not going to be conducive to being as dominant as you can be. And you're cheating yourself. Now he's not. And mind you, he was still fighting within his style while still being a planted tree in this fight. He was still doing it. So he can do it. He probably won't, but he'll blend more so footwork and in fighting, most likely. But if he does that correctly, oh my gosh, but he's going to be incredible. He's going to be phenomenal. This is the best ceiling. This is the highest ceiling I've seen Shakur reach in his career, and he can still go higher, which is insane to me. It's incredible to me, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But let me keep on reading what you all's comments say. Teach 100%. Yep, absolutely. I'm glad you agree with me. Him and Welch will be good. Oh my gosh. Lamont Roach and Shakur. If that fight took place, that would be great. That'd be wonderful. That'd be a phenomenal fight to make. That'd be so good to make. Shakur versus Roach. Shakur versus Keyshawn Davis, even though Keyshawn's most likely moving up to 140. All these, everybody now would be, we're imagining a semblance of Shakur fighting like he did against Zepeda. Going up against any of these cats, brother, it makes for an incredibly exciting fight. That's money worth paying for. Or that's money well spent. That's the proper phrase. That's money well spent if you're paying for a car. But that's incredible. That's another. It was nothing close to a destruction. Your title was clickbait. Well, again, look, a little bit. I understand. Hey, I'm trying to play the YouTube game. But again, you see me on this show. I don't say something without backing it up. And I'm gonna back up why I say Shakur destroyed Zepeda. We have talked about with Floyd Mayweather. Even when he didn't knock somebody out or knock somebody down, we have seen Floyd destroy opponents in similar fashions and called it, oh yeah, he dominated this cat, the Kingdom Come, and went in and did away with it, made them look like they did not belong in the ring. Again, I understand the normal level of destruction is you're going through and you are knocking somebody out. Deontay Wilder, boom, destroyed somebody. You brought up Sheeraz, destroyed Berlanga by knocking him out. Absolutely, we get those performances. Shoot, Junto Nakatani when he fought against who was it? We watched that fight. Dang it, I can't remember his opponent. Junto Nakatani in his last fight destroyed his opponent and literally had a hematoma on his eye the size of a doggone basketball. It was insane what he did to his eye. That destruction, absolutely, no question. But there's also ways to destroy, even if it's not in the, they end up on the ground or the fight is stopped. It is. Now, it's another extreme. Outclassing is what we use the term for. He outclassed him to Kingdom Come. He outclassed him with grace and elegance. It wasn't the violent destruction that we see, but it was the pinpoint, again, canvas painting type of savantism that we've witnessed. But it's still, he destroyed him and outclassed him. Though the brother didn't go down, you couldn't do anything with him. He completely nullified everything about you. And by round 8, we were like, oh yeah, this ain't close. You got to go through and keep on fighting just for the sake of formality. It's not close. Yes, sure, a punch. One punch can change a fight. Yes, absolutely. But in terms of, brother, by halfway midpoint, we were like, oh, it's something different. That's what we were saying. So we're saying it's still a level of destruction. It's just not in the same blown up, just absolutely kaboom type of situation. It ain't that. It's not that. It ain't a bomb going off. But it's still, I completely stripped away. It was surgical. That's what it was. It was a surgical dissection. You're still dead in the water. But I don't do it in the matter that just you going through and you're ending up on the canvas. No, I deliberately, piece by piece, limb by limb, turned you into nothing and made everything about you obsolete. For me, and again, that might not be for you. I understand. For me, that is still a level of destruction. It's just, again, outclassing. But that is still, in my mind, a destructive way of fighting because you go and completely wipe away whatever your opponent wants to do. Whatever he wants to do. And it's like, and mind you, if Shakur had more power, he would have knocked Zepeda out. That's the biggest gripe about all this. If Shakur just did have more pop, he would have knocked him out. And then guess what? Shakur destroyed Zepeda. Yep, he did all that and he knocked him out. That's what it would have been. But that's the only thing about Shakur. The pop, as we see, it's good, but it ain't great. With his hands healthy, he does have good pop. But still, it's just not enough. Now again, it's William Zepeda. So Zepeda just ain't going down to anybody. I get that. We understand the toughness of Zepeda. He can do that volume because he can take that level of punishment. But at the same time, but if it was somebody that had a better punch to him, yeah, Zepeda might have just been on the floor, at least have gone down. And so but again, it's Zepeda also as an account for this. But regardless of which, even with it, But it's an insane performance. It's an absolutely insane performance. Let me see what you all got to say. Let me see. He surprised me with the see. Hey, look, y'all think I'm crazy. He surprised everybody with the power shots. The power of Shakur, or the willingness to throw power, was something we thought he wouldn't be able to do. Because again, the brittle hands was the biggest thing. Turns out, brother, when his hands are healthy, he will throw leather. And he can throw some leather. And like I've said, if it wasn't William Zepeda, though I'm not saying Shakur's got world-ending power. No. But he has shown in the past he had some pop. The way he was doing Valdez, the way he was doing Yoshino, Jamal Herring, Archer Maratunian later in the fight when he fought against him. When he could have gotten him out of there. We know he's got something. It's just his body betrays him. But when it doesn't, it's respectable. And you got some respectable power with this level of precision and willingness to throw, and at this high of a clip landed, brother. Even the best of chins, even if it wasn't Zepeda, there's a couple of good fighters that would have probably at least gone down if that performance happened to them. There's a couple. Zepeda's tough that he can withstand it. But if there was other people in this division, there's a couple people that would have gone down. I'm not saying knocked out, but would have at least gone down with the continuous level of clean, powerful, unabated shots that Shakur was able to land on William Zepeda. I'm telling you, this brother, he showed a lot of stuff. Let me see. Yeah, I think he waited for Zepeda to lose steam and then start opening up with confidence. He did. But it's the way that he did it. The way that he did it was he let Zepeda not necessarily punch himself out, but he let him get comfortable where he wanted to be, and then built up to it and dominated from there. So it's insane. Let me see. Moo man, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. My gosh, we got a lot of people commenting. I'm trying to catch everybody. Vince, I see you. I'm gonna get to you, but I'm trying to catch everybody I can with these chats, because I told you this show's gonna be a big show. No question. At least Shakur stayed in the pocket because he felt the power and it wasn't significant. But like De Los Santos fight, you didn't like the power, and that's why he was moving around. Again, now you're right about this. Now also, the injuries did make it so he could not actually box like he may have wanted to box. So his only avenue was to move and run like he did. It was still running. It was still his worst performance to date. It is still an example of what we don't want to see in the sport. But again, we covered that in the past. Context was abound with why that fight was the way that it was. And I've been saying that Shakur does not fight like that on a consistent basis. Absolutely. We've covered that multiple times on this show in past episodes. However, I would be very interested to see a fight with Shakur versus De Los Santos. I would. I'm not going to lie. Because I would want to see, okay, if you can do this against Zepeda, and you can do it because you felt you didn't have the power, could you do the same thing against somebody with pop? And be willing to take these same level of chances and be this dominant still. I would love to see that. I would be very interested in seeing that. Absolutely. Now, I still think he would beat him. And I think he would do a semblance of what this was with Zepeda. Yes, like I said, probably for his entire career, he's not going to be this much of an in the pocket, stand like a tree, counter, catch, shoot, uppercut, all that stuff while being within 3 inches of your face. He's probably not going to be like that for the rest of his career. But if he can blend that with also still using the feet, the jab, the distance that he normally always uses against all of his opponents, and being this willing to throw as well, brother, we're talking about a dominant fighter that can only get better. We're talking about a perfect blend of a fighter that we already know just defensively alone is one of the best talents in the world. But you couple that now with a more willing offensive standpoint, my gosh, my goodness, ridiculous. I would love to see it. No question. I wonder how big this Shakur come up on the fight, because he looked big. I would love to too. Because again, just like with David Haney, Shakur's a big brother in this division. I've been saying that for years. I don't know what he came to. I would assume maybe closer to 140, maybe 145, hypothetically, potentially. I'm not saying for certain, because I don't have those numbers in front of me. Other people may, and you can go find them as well and use them for sources for that perspective. But I'm telling you, the size on this brother, especially when he rehydrates, it's something serious. Him and Tank never going to fight. That's a fairy tale, my boy. Hey, man. Hey, brother. I wish it was a real thing. But it's still going to be a talked about sentiment because it's still something that, regardless of what's going on with Shakur or what's going on with Tank right now, it is still a topic of discussion. And now it's even more of a topic because financially, all of a sudden, that fight just got a mega boost because now everybody wants to see, oh, wait, this is a Shakur we didn't think was existed. So if this is a Shakur that we actually know is valuable, brother, yeah, let's see Tank do what he can do against this Shakur Stevenson. The stock of this fight just went up. The stock of Tank versus Shakur did go up. Now, for Tank fighting, again, that's a later segment in the show. Like, I'll show it to you right now. No, wrong one, no. We gonna have that talk. We're gonna have that talk, absolutely. We're gonna have that talk next. But it legitimately, it's a viable fight because now, lucratively, it is something that is substantial. It ain't just a fluke. It ain't just something that's just ho-hum. Might not be. The one thing that drives Tank is money. That's the biggest thing right now, the biggest payday. Not legacy, but payday. But now, off the backs of this fight, and with the money that we know Turkey Al-Sheikh wants to throw around, and with Turkey already saying he wants Tank and Shakur to fight against each other if Shakur beats Zepeda, which now we've seen him do it. You can't tell me that there ain't an argument that the stars aligned. And financially, legacy-wise, and from a timely standpoint, it is a legitimate viable option that Tank might actually take. Though Tank doesn't care about legacy. And we talked about it multiple times on this show. But again, it is still a fairy tale. But it's a fairy tale that can become reality very quickly. Very quickly. Let me see. Even Stevenson's daughter thought Zepeda did good. Hey, look, I'm not saying Zepeda did bad. And so again, if you don't like my definition, I respect it. I understand. Again, I'm only giving you my opinions. Like I said, I'm not right all the time. I get it. I'm only giving you my opinions on the thing. So I understand it. And I'm not gonna lie, it was adorable. Seeing his daughter talk on the mic, and then the post interview when she was like, Zepeda almost knocked you out. That was funny. That was funny, but that was beautiful. I love it when boxers and their children can bond and really be cohesive. It's beautiful. It really is a beautiful thing. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie. Okay, Vince, I see you. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in the show. So glad that you're here with us today. Usyk versus Dubois. We're going to talk about that at the third topic of the day. We are. It's coming up this weekend. Shoot, that fight's going to be talked about for today, Thursday, and Friday, going into Saturday. So we're going to talk about it. But I do have Usyk winning. I got him winning. I'm going to tell you what, if you stick around, if you just stick around a little bit, I'll go into a whole breakdown as to why. And why this fight is also really competitive. So I can't wait for it. It's going to be exciting. No question about it. And that's going to be, again, mind you, remember, for those of you who are still getting in the know with what's going on in the sport of boxing, Usyk is getting ready to retire. Remember that. He's got 2 fights left. Counting this fight with Dubois, he's got 1. So with this fight, he's got 1 more than he says he's done. So it's going to be a big thing. If he beats Dubois, we're going to talk about will he fight Fury a third time? Will he potentially fight a Joseph Parker who will finally get an opportunity? There's a plethora of things. Fabio Wardley, who just had a knockout against Justice Hooney. The likes of, what's the other brother? Maybe hypothetically Moses Atuma. Though that is a ways away from a talent perspective. With how they're trying to push that, brother. Will he get an early shot at the title just for the sake of, hey, old and new generations, power versus technical savantism, and a world conqueror? And Usyk, what can he do? There's a lot on the table for what potentially is going to take place with Usyk after this fight. And if Usyk loses, my gosh, does he stay around? Does he try to go back through the gauntlet? Does he rematch Dubois? Does Dubois fight Fury? There's a lot. There's a lot to discuss, absolutely. And I can't wait for it. Let's see, Pacheco versus McCumbee. McCumbee going to test that chin. Brother McCumbee going to, look, that fight's also happening this weekend. Ben Rodriguez is fighting against Kafu as well. This weekend, Usyk's fighting this weekend. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Oh my gosh. It's just boxing aplenty. And we're going to talk about it all. I promise you that. And Shakur mentally breaks Tank. What? You know what? Since we're here, let's go into the next topic so we're not wasting time on this show. And again, I appreciate all of you being here. And if you would, please leave a like on the stream if you are here. We got 18 people. So we're about tired of broke our record for the most people collectively in the stream. Hey, I love it. I love it, absolutely. If you would, like the stream if you haven't already, and make other people want to join. Push the algorithm to help us out and push us to the masses for the boxing world and for the sports world as a whole. We talk about boxing and a bunch of other stuff as well. And hey, if you ain't subscribed already, if you like what you're hearing and you want to see us again, come join the Empire. Come be a part of this army, this conglomerate, this monolith, this mogul of a community that we can make absolutely with you and your support. We love it. We cherish it. And we're so happy to see you all here. And also, Al Booger, I ain't see you in a minute. I'm sorry. There's been a lot of people chatting, but how you doing? So good to see you. So glad you're back. And also, wait a minute. Time out. Wait a second. Hold on. Real quick, we got to stop. We got to stop real quick and give somebody here just due. Because Al Booger, last weekend, you gave $5 to the show. I think it was through PayPal. I think it was. If I'm wrong, please excuse me. But you gave $5 to the show and supported us on the live stream with Shakur versus Zepeda and Berlanga versus Sheeraz. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the love. And we appreciate you, man, coming through. And hey, helping out the show. And if anybody else wants to give, we got links in the description. Cash App, PayPal, and wherever else you can do. Or excuse me, Cash App, PayPal, the two primary ways. We ain't got Super Chats yet, so we can't do it yet. But when we do, we'll let you know and we'll make it happen. But for now, here's the best way to do it. So if you do support, hey, put in the chat how much you gave, where you gave, and I can give you your props and you just do and say, hey, appreciate you coming into the show. I'll validate it to make sure it's through the respective links, and then boom. We'll give you your props because we want to make sure we give our support to the Empire for supporting the show. No question about it. But again, Al Booger, thank you so much for last week. Thank you for the $5. And hey, glad that you stuck around. Glad that you want to be here. Glad that you love this show so much that you want to invest in it. And it means the world to me. Absolutely, man. My brother, thank you so much. But as we continue to go through, let me see. That's the JB. It's a good card. Too bad it's on the same night as a PBC. Yeah, man, it's the same. I hate that all the cards are happening at the same time on the same day. I wish it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we had those types of cards. There would be 3 weekends of nothing but action that people could set aside from. Regardless of which, we're going to try to track it all. Absolutely. Let me see. Shakur is gifted. Let me see. Coach Eddie, I wasn't impressed. Wow. Really? You weren't impressed with this Shakur performance. Wow. Now that's the first. If you're talking about with Shakur Stevenson, that's the first. I've heard, again, destruction may be too much, as LPG said. Okay, I can understand the viewpoint. But I haven't heard anybody say they ain't impressed about this fight. I would love to hear your opinions as to why. That's an interesting sentiment. I disagree. I think most should be impressed by this fight. But again, I want to hear from you, and I want to hear how you feel about it all. But let me see. Shakur is gifted, and I'm a Haney fan. Still got to state the fact, yeah, buddy, you can't deny it at this point. This cat is the real deal. He landed like 50-something% on power punches, but Coach Eddie ain't impressed till he beats Tank. And it's like, again, everybody's got a right to their opinion. I love it. I want this discourse. But I don't think, it's hard to say, again, for me, and how much I've been on this brother. Y'all know me when I talk about what I've told. Y'all have heard what I've said about Shakur Stevenson. And I'm impressed with this cat. So I thought I was fairly strict in terms of like, not like hating, but like I thought I was, fairly consistent with like, hey man, from my personal thing, what I need to see from this brother to show me what he can really do is this, and he did that. So I mean, he checked all my boxes. Shoot, I wonder what more he could do. Al Booker brought it up that he could have been more vicious, maybe, and we talked about that at the end of the stream last Saturday. But beyond that, which again I can see the argument, I don't know what else he could really do. I don't. And see, he's got sides of it. Yes, he does. He does. He absolutely has the sides of it. Like I said, just like with Devin Haney, he's a big cat in this division. He is. He and he's only growing. That's the great thing. Shakur is different. He sees in their eyes open. He can see him You can see him, yeah. You can see the wheels turning as he goes through with this process. Let's see, Stabby, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here. What topic we on right now? Right now, we jumping into, could Shakur beat Tank Davis now off the backs of this Zepeda performance? Could he beat him? And that's essentially, we can jump into it. We can let me keep on reading. We can't criticize Shakur for not engaging in fights and then criticize when he stays in the pocket and gets hot. You see this? You see this? This is a great way to look at it. Again, from the standpoint of, you can't call him boring. Not saying any of us in the chat have. In the past, we've had that criticism, understandable. But now, we can't say that we were tired of this brother running and doing what he did. And then now be in a situation where we're not giving this man props for doing the very thing we said we wanted him to do to make a fight more exciting. Because, again, even Floyd was getting hit when he fought like this. Even Floyd was getting hit. Like, and shoot, Ali, with his style of boxing, which was, again, still elegant and graceful, but what also was destructive and all that stuff. Again, we talked about destruction on this show earlier today, the different definitions and all that stuff. Absolutely. But he was able to, again, do what he did. But he got caught. Most of the greats, James Toney, in fact, that's a better deal. More than anything with this fight than Floyd Mayweather, he fought like James Toney fought. That's the biggest comparison. That's the most relevant comparison I can think of beyond Floyd Mayweather. James Toney was not Floyd Mayweather. James Toney had the same defensive mindset, but he was way more offensively adept from the standpoint of power and willingness to, I'll take these shots of punching in between punches. I'll take these chances of trying to go and land hard stuff, multiple flurries in the midst of danger. That's what James Toney. That Philly shell, boom, boom. Walk you down, boom, boom. Change head slots, hook, then hook to the body, uppercut, then go back to the Philly shell on the ropes, boom, straight right when you're coming in. Look at the fight that he had with Iran Barkley, that I think also was on the same card as Roy Jones Jr. Crazy enough, they fought on the same card at the same time. My gosh, talk about, shoot, amount of talent there is insane. But Barkley versus James Toney was about the best example of a fight that I can compare Shakur versus Zepeda to. And how Shakur fought. He fought like James Toney, which is great. But he got hit. James Toney got hit. But that was still a dominating performance because James Toney absolutely not just made Iran Barkley, swell up facially, but was doing whatever he wanted, offensively and defensively. I mean, it was not that's the biggest thing, and we can't criticize Shakur for fighting like that. And we called back to, we want boxing to look like what it used to look like back in the day, and then we get somebody that has that level of back in the day type of production, and then we say, oh God, you got hit too much. That's a problem. In some cases, you can't win, and I get it. You don't want to be in a situation where you're getting caught consistently. I get that. But this wasn't those situations where, he just stupidly put himself in danger. Everything that Shakur did in the ring against Zepeda was calculated. That's the thing. That's what made it so impressive. Shakur won 9-3 or 8-4. I don't know how some people are saying Zepeda won. I can't see that at all. I had this fight 10-2 or more. I can argue for Zepeda the first 2 rounds, but after that, I didn't see it going any other way except for Shakur doing what he wanted to do. Let me see, Mouthpiece. What's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, Mouthpiece, to the show. So glad that you're here, my guys. We got a lot of people commenting on the fight and on this whole thing. Okay, we got a Kid Austin's more dangerous fight than Zepeda. That from a power standpoint, he is. Andy Cruiserweight number 1 for Shakur's belt is a big threat. It's a bigger threat than Zepeda. Look, hey. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I want to see him against all of them, especially now, and do this similar type of stuff, because this type of fighter in Shakur beats both of them. I'm more confident now more than ever. Shakur beats Floyd Schofield and Andy Cruz than ever was before. But beyond that, because we still got to talk about the topic at hand, Shakur versus Tank. We need to discuss it. What the word is you all sentiments on it? I want to hear what you all got to say. What's your thoughts on this sentiment now, based on what you've seen with Shakur against Zepeda, and what you remember about Tank in his last outing against Welch? What do you think if that fight took place and we saw them indeed come through? Let's say Tank beats Lamont, and now Tank and Shakur hypothetically gets made. Do you think that Shakur beats Tank now? In your estimation? Because I want to hear your thoughts, because I got plenty of mine. I got plenty with me, but I want to hear from you all what you all got to say at this point. Let me see. Tank had to fight Welch first, and he got baby mama problems right now. So I wouldn't waste my time chasing him. And it's other big fights you make. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. The reason why I bring this up, it's not because I'm trying just to push the big red button of a big topic to discuss. I need to talk about this because if we are saying that Shakur right now, if the dream fight did happen, would beat Tank, that validates for me now that, okay, Tank no longer runs this division. Now there's somebody better than Tank. We haven't said that about anybody at this division. Between 130 and 140, we've been saying that Tank is the best of any of those weight classes. All of a sudden, if we're saying Shakur is better, brother, this is a shift. This is an era shift. And we're saying this now. And we're seeing Shakur as the guy now, the man. And yes, similar to Boots. When Boots was, could this brother be the best in this division? Oh, well, he's got to prove it going and fighting against Stanionis. Once he proves it, okay, boom. Now he got the claim. Yeah, this brother's the best at 147, and going into 154, he's going to be most likely the most talented, or at least top 3 out the gate, wherever he goes. All of a sudden, if we're saying this with Shakur now, would we not also have this same type of mentality with, okay, if we're saying Shakur is better than Tank at this point and he would beat him, then that would also signify that if he moved up to 140, he's beating Teofimo Lopez, he's beating Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and if he got up to 147, he would be one of the more credible top 3 to top 5 threats out the gate. This is big if we're saying that. But again, I want to hear from you all first before I give my thoughts on the thing. Absolutely. Let me see. Shakur got killers at 135, sharks in the water. He and Tank might have to fight each other instead of them sharks. I wish it was already taking place. Absolutely. That's not. I want all the smoke now. But because we know Tank might be getting out of this sport quicker than we ever imagined. Bet y'all back to this whole drama with the situation of domestic violence. And reportedly, Tank ain't even been training for Lamont Roach. Reportedly. And has been out of the gym for months instead of actually being in the gym, which is contradictory to what we've seen with the videos. And again, this ain't me saying this. This is ESPN. This is an ESPN article saying this about Tank. This changes a lot of stuff. I mean, then you do blah blah knockout again. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about it later on in the show. Good gosh, there has been so many people going through. I give Shakur an A-, not a virtuoso point, but a great point. Okay, I can respect. I give him an A. For me, it's an A+. Let me see. I'm hearing Sheeraz ain't had no loaded gloves, but that's just straight up power. I promise you, that was just straight up power that he did against Berlanga. I guarantee you that. No matter what, Tank ain't never fighting Shakur. So yeah, well, regardless of what happens, I guess Tank ain't never fight him. Let me see. Matt Borgerson, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here. Best show on the podcast. Hey, man, I appreciate it. I'm just doing the best I can, trying to make sure I get people involved. Hopefully, y'all are loving what we got. Hopefully, y'all are investing in what we got going on. And again, I love this type of talk. I love this type of show. I love this type of stuff with you. We're starting out this afternoon strong. It's only 1:30, and doggone it, we hot like fire right now. I appreciate it. And if you would, leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Please keep on liking the stream and sharing it with people, because I want to hear your thoughts on all of this stuff going on right now. Shakur, Roman Vasquez. What's good, man? How you doing, Roman? Ramon. I'm sorry, Ramon Vasquez. How you doing? Shakur showed he has dog in him, but it's more than dog butter. It is some real dangerous talent. It's a dangerous talent he's got in him. I'm telling you, hopefully one day you have callers on your show. Hey, man, maybe so. We can figure out how to make it work. We can make it happen. But right now, I'm doing the best I can with what I can understand what how to do. But hopefully we do it if we're so. This will be great. This will be phenomenal. Back and forth to have. Let me see Tank going to knock out that boy. Shakur don't got enough power to keep him off of him. See, but we said the same thing about Zepeda, and look what happened. Yes, Tank has more power, but Tank also is not nearly as output centric. So also off the backs of why Shakur was getting called against Zepeda was because of pure volume. Shakur wouldn't be able to block everything. But with Tank being even more methodical in his fighting style, especially with this brother, again, not fighting a lot in the first 2 or 3 or first 5 rounds and then amping up the pressure, looking to see what you're going to give him before he goes and does something. Stylistically, he matches up perfectly with Shakur, because Shakur is not going to give away anything, and he's going to look to counter whatever you do. Shakur is more defensive than Tank, so it's going to be on Tank to make the first move every time. And then Shakur builds his game plan off of that. And Tank offensively building up a game plan versus defensively building up a game plan. It's not always, it might not equate to the same level of production on that night of the fight. And it could be that he's, again, six rounds in the hole, and now you got to go get a knockout like he's been doing. Every game plan is to get a knockout. That's what Tank does. Doesn't worry about winning rounds. He worries about getting the knockout within the last 5 rounds of the fight. But if you can't hit the brother who you need to knock down or knock out, that brings another world of trouble. It does. Stylistically and from now a concrete production standpoint, Shakur's looking like, brother, I'm built to beat you. We know Lamont Roach has a chance to beat him. Absolutely, especially out the back to the first fight. But this fight now, brother, Shakur's looking like, hey, man, if they ever got in the ring with each other, it would be Tank. Tank would be in some, I think Tank might be in some trouble. And I dare say, I think Shakur would beat Tank. I dare say I think Shakur would beat Tank. I truly do. Because it's more than just a dream fight with an expected outcome. Because I've been saying for the longest time, I think Tank as a fighter is better than Shakur. But now I can't say that. I can't say that anymore. After this type of performance against this type of guy, power or no power, this was something different I had never seen from Shakur before. This was a full blending of everything we wanted, or I had been asking for Shakur to do. And he even blew my expectations of what he could do out the water. From the small stuff to the big stuff. And he was able to be this much of a different threshold. I'm saying for me, brother, Tank, I dare say, it's tied up. And I might say that Shakur beats him. I might. It may be shocking, I know. But I might say Shakur beats him if they fought against each other, knowing what I know now. And so, but let me keep on reading. I'm sure Welch will beat Shakur. I want to see it. And again, that fight is up in the air, because even though we know Shakur and Tank are supposed to fight in August 16th, right now it seems like nothing has been signed on Tank's end to make that fight officially official. With press releases, billboards, and all that stuff going about. The date's there, but the fight ain't at this point in time, because from what I understand, he ain't signed up in terms of Tank, and Lamont's waiting on them. So this fight is genuinely in jeopardy. And like I've been saying, he could go straight into that Jake Paul fight because he hasn't signed anything yet with Lamont. And just take that fight outright because it's an easier fight. But which is ridiculous. I hope that don't happen, but it could happen. Let me see. What makes you think? What makes you think Shakur better? I don't see. Oh, excuse me. What makes you think Shakur is better? It's because it's again. I didn't say he's. Let me rephrase it. Shakur and Tank are on the same wavelength now. If you still think Tank's better, I understand. If you think Shakur is better after this performance, I completely understand. I'm saying that the gap between Tank and Shakur no longer is this insurmountable thing where Shakur is good, but Tank's just on a different level. I'm not saying that anymore. Tank is here and Shakur is here. It's like this. If you think somebody's better, it's by that much. If you think somebody's better, it's by that much. But it's here. Am I in the middle? There we go. It's here. This is where I see their talent at now. For me, it's neck and neck. Stylistically, even if their talent is on the same wavelength now, for me, stylistically, I'm saying Shakur might have, with him being as complete defensively, and he can show this same level of offensive ability in that fight with Tank, even without power, he can beat him. He can beat him. He can. Because like I've been saying consistently, Tank is a fighter who relies on the knockout because he's able to make the perfect game plan to get the knockout. Every game plan is always built to knock out your opponent. That's what Tank, he doesn't worry about winning rounds, he worries about winning the fight. And he wins the fight by knocking you out in almost every situation. But like we saw with Lamont Roach, when he builds that game plan mid-fight, like we saw Floyd used to do back in the day, make the game plan as the fight goes on, and then boom, you execute it after round 6. Tank, build up a game plan after round 4 or after round 5. You'll lose rounds willingly. And then round 6 and on, you're looking to go, okay, implement it. It's time to get you out of there. But with Lamont, it didn't work. And when that didn't work, all of a sudden there was no plan B for Tank to rely on to get Lamont out of there. Instead, it was just, okay, I got to scrap. Which is not bad at all. It's not bad at all. But when Tank is not able to do what he wants to do, all of a sudden there's a level of irritability, there's a level of anger, there's a level of unraveling, just like in that Lamont fight that we saw with Tank. And if that happens against Shakur, you couldn't tell me that Shakur wouldn't be able to more easily take advantage of the scrambling nature of, okay, what do I got to do to get this guy out of here? Because I need to get him out of here or I'm going to lose. Or at least I'm not going to win. He can do it. He can make you miss and land at a higher clip. Even if it's not knocking you out. He can counter you and catch you. And keep you at bay after he's banked those first 5 or 6 rounds because Tank is willingly losing those rounds to build up a game plan to knock you out. And then what? If he chooses to be uber defensive, Tank won't be able to catch him. I'm almost fairly certain if Shakur just didn't want to get caught, he just won't get caught. Even though the way he would do that would be like with De Los Santos, absolutely running. But he would do it if need be. I hope he doesn't do that, but he could do it. If he wanted to blend the two, he could still make Tank miss, maybe get caught but recover. And if Tank doesn't get him out of there, after that first round or two, if he gets Shakur hurt and Shakur is able to recover, then what the world? Now we're in some danger because Tank can't make up that ground. If Tank can't make up that ground against an opponent, there is some danger that this brother doesn't have any other way to win if the knockout can't come through. Yes, he adapted with Isaac Cruz. Yes, he adapted with Barrios. But those are two instances. The rest of it, it's been the same formula, same game plan. Build it up first 5 rounds, implement it round 6 and on, get the knockout by round 10 to 12. If the knockout doesn't come by round 10, by round 10 to 12, and I lose round 6 and or round 7, all of a sudden we're in danger because I might not win this fight. If that knockout or knockdown doesn't take place, that is the formula for Tank. Shakur can nullify that formula. If Lamont can do it, if Lamont Roach can do it, there's no question in my mind that Shakur can do a better job than Lamont Roach. There's none. And he's got better advantages than Lamont because he's taller, he's longer, he's bigger. Not a bigger puncher, but bigger in frame and physical strength. Maybe not punching power, but physically being able to hold his ground, just like with Lamont, he can do it. He can. And so it's like, that's why I'd say Shakur genuinely can beat this cat. It's not just a fluke or hyperbole because he's just a star. This brother can beat him. Tank is beatable. He is beatable. And if Lamont Roach can do it, you couldn't tell me that Shakur can't go and completely up Lamont Roach's game plan and be better than Lamont Roach against Tank. You can't. Not for me. I don't do triangle theory, but this is off of the sheer fact of ability, knowledge, and know-how. Off the sheer fact of that. I'm like, like, what the world? I know for a fact that Tank can be beaten by Shakur now more than ever. Will he beat him? Again, we don't know. But I'm telling you right now, that fight, more than ever, is a concrete 50-50 affair. That people that were just saying, Shakur won't be able to handle what Tank can bring, you can't say that no more. At least not for me. Not for me. You can't say that. I can't say that no more. I can't say that Shakur can't handle the power. I can't say that Shakur can't handle the IQ. I can't say that Shakur is just going to be too intimidated. I can't say that. I can't. We just witnessed a performance that shut nearly all of that down against a brother who should have been for who Shakur was, or for who Shakur was perceived as a fighter. This was Shakur's toughest test, absolutely. One of the real threats in this division. And he was able to handle this man as if he didn't belong in the ring at all. And we ain't seen nobody do that to William Zepeda. That's something. And Zepeda's wins or losses. And I can't remember if Zepeda was undefeated or not, but in his wins and or losses, if he had lost up before that point, ain't nobody made Zepeda look like that. Nobody made Zepeda look like that. That's a testament. That's something for me. That is something serious. That's something serious. So that's why I would say I think Shakur would beat Tank if they fought against a 50-50 fight. But if I'm making a pick off of what we saw from the last 2 outings, one elevated and one stayed the same and or diminished a little bit, I have to say I think I would take Shakur over Tank Davis for me. At least in my perspective. Let's see, this fight was the only fight that he fought somebody that was a little bit dangerous. Yes. Outside of De Los Santos, hold on, no, time out. No, that's not true. Because he beat Jamal Herring early in his career, who was one of the biggest champions at 130, and beat him. He knocked out artist Yoshino, coming over from Japan, who was undefeated. Handled him with ease. He beat the legend Oscar Valdez, who has always brought grit to everybody that he can, and has been one of the more tough fighters of his time. That was a great win, and he dominated him. Got him bloodied up and everything, I believe. So it's like, that's a lot. He's fought other dangerous people before. This has been the most dangerous person. Because he had the mentality of Oscar Valdez, but with the physical capabilities that Oscar did not have. That should have made it so that Shakur should not have been able to put on this level of high high output and high defense. Because Zepeda wasn't going to miss those hooks because he ain't got as short of arms. He can reach you better. He had a longer reach. I think he was taller and had a longer reach than Shakur. And he still did what he did. That's impressive. For me, that's incredibly impressive. And so it's like, I'm telling you, it's something serious. Let me see. And I'm not hating, I just watch boxing. I'm like, hey, look, credit to you. And hey, I'm glad we got another boxer in the room. Love it. Happy to see it. I would love to know your style, how you fight. You a counterpuncher, you a in-fighter, out-fighter, you more of a slickster, you more of a brawler. I would love to hear how you fight. But like, again, we're taking everybody's account as legitimate because everybody might have saw something different. But I'm just simply trying to explain to you from my perspective what we saw and why it was impressive and why it was genuinely something to behold, while also giving context to what he's done in the past that some people may not have known. Because not for anybody in the chat, but just for anybody in general. Everybody may not know who people have faced before. It's fine. It's understandable. Like I said, I didn't know who Bacoli was when I first saw him. Up until he beat Jared Anderson. And all of a sudden, oh my goodness. What the world? And I knew of Jared Anderson, but I didn't know of Bacoli. All of a sudden, going in the back and looking at who Bacoli was able to beat. Though, again, the heavyweight division of that point in time wasn't all that great. It was like, okay, hey, there's something there. But because in some cases, people just don't know who, or people don't know what the career of an opponent may be. So they may say he hasn't done anything of a certain ilk before. Due to, again, the unknown of the unknown. They don't know what they don't know. And we're just here to help inform and give context so you can have a better window of who are the people that these people have faced off against, why it was impressive then, and what helps make it even more impressive now. So you get the true greatness of what we're dealing with when it comes to these great fighters of today's generation. That's all. We're just trying to help you learn and grow and see things from a new perspective that you may not have seen before, just to help you be a better fan, be more informed. I'm not saying I'm always right. Definitely not. But I am saying we're helping you to become, become smarter, become better, become more seasoned per se. And to help these conversations have even more depth and detail, because we love it. Help have these debates help have these debates be even more intellectual, while still being incredibly fun and exciting. Yeah, hopefully I'm doing that and helping you all out, in some degree. And so, but let me see. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm still reading through, trying to see if there's any other questions. Talking about boots. I like boots too. 154 is where we make or break though. I think it'll be just fine outside of that upper tier. I'm trying. Hold on. Wait a minute. Boxing is a mental sport, and if Tank's mind is not all in the sport versus Shakur, he's in trouble, and it might not be. It might not be right now. Because again, in fact, let me see while we're going through. Let me see if I can pull up this thing with Tank and the article. Because I got it. I know I got it saved. I got it saved here somewhere. Hold on. Wait a minute. Give me a second to help further provide a level of understanding with all of this talk going on right now. Give me a second. Oh, excuse me. Well, hold on. Before I do this, before I do that, TV show. Okay, never mind. I thought it was some news with I thought I just saw some news with Shakur or with Tank versus, or not Tank. I thought I saw some news with Boots versus Crawford, but no, it was nothing. Never mind. I'm sorry. I do apologize. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, right here. So let me pull it up. Let me pull it up right now. Since we're talking about the mentality of Tank at this point in time in his career, this is again. This is per. Again, this is from Pound for Pound on Twitter. Reasoning behind the altercation between Tank and his baby mother was insecurities over the sexuality of his son. Again, it's been detailed, and also according to members of his team, he has not been training at all since the incident. Though we've seen videos in the gym, he actively has not been in the gym. And again, he posts. So y'all think I'm making this stuff up? The ESPN article. And we'll click and make sure. Yeah, and you can read it all through right here. And like this ain't just coming up with stuff. Seemingly genuinely, since this whole debacle and this whole incredibly disheartening situation with Tank and his domestic violence situation with his significant other, he has not been training as a result of all of this drama. And genuinely, if that's the case, that is a very scary prospect going through now for the rest of, again, domestic violence is horrible. We hate it, we despise it, we speak against it in every form of fashion. It should never happen. It is despicable that it does happen. Tank paid bail, so he's out of jail. What can you do? Sadly, what can you do? But, same vein, with him being out of the gym this long, seemingly, reportedly, by his own team, saying he ain't been training. And what we know about Tank and his, again, headspace, pride, what it takes for him to be in the sport and how much he doesn't like boxing in terms of what it's brought about, what it's turned into, at least in his eyes. Now he wants to get away from it. There's some danger there. This cat would forget Shakur. This cat with Lamont might not make it past it because he truly ain't there mentally for that fight. On top of he might not have a plan B of how to beat him, because what should have been the perfect plan A that he has always created every single fight that he's gotten a win against, that he makes in the first 5 rounds, and then implements that game plan within the last 7 or whatever the word is. He didn't do it, and he couldn't adapt. He couldn't do it. And so now, a less focused Tank versus what seems to be an in-the-gym consistent Lamont, from what we see right now.
Hey, look at this! We got some problems here! We got some problems here!
Got some problems. We got some concerns. We got some dilemmas in the dunya. I'll tell you that right now. We got some dilemmas in the dunya. I tell you what. I promise you that. And so, but let me keep on reading what y'all guys. I felt like he made the adjustment in round 4 and then took over Floyd-esque. Yeah, you in terms of Shakur? Yep, just like that. Now, again, I would compare it more to James Toney. For those of you who watch James Toney, follow his career, he fought like James Toney more than anything, especially with the offense. Shakur or Floyd wasn't James Toney offensively. He wasn't. That's not me being disrespectful. Knowing history. Floyd was not James Toney when it came to looking to do damage to his opponent while also being slick. He wasn't that. He wasn't it. Floyd had semblances of that in the early days of his career. But Toney was like that throughout his entire career. Putting punishment, throwing in volume, and still being incredibly slick. Dogging it out with anybody. In that same style. That same type of fight style that we saw Shakur do to Zepeda. Being at risk at all times. He was like that. James Toney was, but the fact that Roy Jones beat him was incredible. Because James Toney was one of them other different breeds. He didn't train. He just sparred. His training was just sparring all the time. It's how he got so good. It was ridiculous. And that is what I see in Shakur Stevenson. In terms of what that fight with Zepeda. That's what I see, at least for me. And it was incredibly impressive. The reason why Tank haven't fought him is the reason why Tank hasn't fought him. It's about money. You'll call and have a split or something close, have a split. He can't feel no seats. It's about money. That's it. And it's like, I don't think money would be a concern for that fight anymore. Because if anything, especially now, That fight with Shakur and Tank has been talked about for 3 years as one of the fights that people want to see. So, and especially now off the backs of this performance, and who would also be backing said fight with the reputation that Shakur has now. One of the hottest names in the sport right now is Shakur Stevenson. Everything seems to line up that, yeah, people would pay to see it. I guarantee you people would pay to see it. Money's not an issue. Now it's about drive as a fighter. Like we've always touched on with Tank. Tank does not have a legacy to leave behind. Where is your legacy to fight the names that would validate how great you are? Shakur is one of those names. Keyshawn Davis was one of those names. Lomachenko was one of those names. Can't fight him because Keyshawn's at 140. Lomachenko retired. You could have fought Lomachenko before, but you didn't. That was on you. Then you go. Abdul Mace is now up and coming as a champion. Can you fight him? Ain't going to do it. Lamont Roach right now is your biggest legacy-defining fight. And right now, it is still up in the air, though we have a date, whether you will actually fight him. And you were going to fight Jake Paul. And potentially will still fight Jake Paul with or without the Lamont Roach rematch. That's a problem. If your biggest win to date is still Ryan Garcia, that is not good. That's not good. That's wrong. We shouldn't be bringing up Pedraza or Leo Santa Cruz as these quality wins anymore, because you should have eclipsed them by now. And you know it. You beat Barrios, so you should already be at 140 right now. Because you showed you can take on one of the tallest opponents in the division. So height apparently ain't no factor for you. You've been fighting short. You've been the shorter fighter all your life. You're fighting at your natural weight. Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. Well, then fight everybody at that weight, and you still haven't yet. Even after Frank Martin, when you were supposed to be after Frank Martin, you went and elevated your game. You still haven't. Lamont Roach was a surprise to why it was such a good fight. That was not a fight that anybody wanted to see. And this ain't because, we're not trying to disrespect Lamont Roach, but we're not going to revise history and say that Lamont Roach was a world killer that was on everybody's radar from day one. We're not going to do that. We are not going to do that. Just like we're not going to say that Edgar Berlanga was a great win for Canelo, though off the backs of that win, Berlanga gained a level of respect that he couldn't sustain, but he performed better than we thought. All of a sudden, people going to say, oh, that was a pretty good fight. No, that was not a fight that should have happened. And it should have been David Benavidez. For the past 3 years, it should have been that brother. We're not going to revise history just because recently, all of a sudden, oh, he shocked us all. He's been that good all the time. No, we're not going to do that. There's a right and a wrong way to put together pieces to help elevate a guy, but this ain't one of them. Lamont was a 130-pound champion, and we respect it. He lost to Jamal Herring, came back and won the title recently. He had one title defense, and then went and got Tank. We were not saying, especially when we knew Tank at that point in time, that Tank wasn't going to handle Lamont with 5 rounds to go. We were saying people were saying he's going to knock out Lamont by round 3. Because Lamont was coming up from 135. And already it never looked like a credible threat. Even in his most recent fight. He didn't look like somebody that was going to do this to Tank. He didn't have the cachet, the resume, and the actual fighting ability, the eye test. No test validated what that fight was. None. And we were already saying Tank needs to fight people who are already at 135. And he wasn't even doing that. So I don't know what to say. If you're trying to revise history, when we know that's a bold-faced lie. We can't do that. We cannot do that at all. And if you're going to stick with, okay, hey, you want to be at 135, this is your best weight class, then brother, after Lamont, and you need to sign the contract with Lamont, but after Lamont, you need to fight Shakur. If you don't fight Lamont, you need to fight Shakur for the title. Period. It's got to happen. If you want to be what you say you are, go show it against the best of the best. I don't care whether you think Tank can beat Shakur. I don't care whether you think Shakur has no chance against Tank. I don't care if you think Shakur is going to dominate Tank. I don't care one way or the other. What I care about is you get in the ring and you show what you can do. Because it don't matter how great we think you are. Do you know, look, that picture behind me, that thing at different angles, it shows you different quotes of Ali. If you go stand right in front of it, guess what that thing shows you? It's got a quote of Ali in the gym saying, I'm going to show you how great I am. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to yap about it. I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to hype it up. I'm going to show you what I'm about. I'm going to show you I'm a dog. I'm going to show you I'm that guy. I'm going to show you this is what I bring to the table. You can't mess with me because I'm going to do you up in the ring. You ain't on my level, not because I got this substantial resume, but because I showed it on a night-to-night basis, day in, day out, night in, night out, against whoever in the world stepped to me. We're seeing Inouye do that. We're seeing Benavidez do that. We used to see Canelo do that. We see Terrence Crawford doing that. We see Ben Rodriguez doing that. We see Benavidez doing that. We see Bivol doing that. We see Usyk do that. Dubois of recent did that. I don't know what the world. We got all these other examples of greatness abound, dominance of plenty. Great fighters doing great things, consistently making themselves the best that they can be without any remorse. Jujo Nakatani, Tajiri, if we want to go down to lower weight classes. We see everybody, even Devin Haney, regardless of how you feel about him. That brother has fought just about every respectable name you can in the division. He's got the best resume out of the four kings in boxing right now. Only rival by Teofimo Lopez. We ain't just talking about these people as a bunch of bums. We talk about them as great because they show greatness. Tank, if you're going to show greatness, show greatness. Be great. Be great. Show up. Get your life together. Get your family together. And be what you say you about. Because I'm not going off a hype no more. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent. I do apologize. But I need to say this before I keep on going. I'm not going off a hype no more. I'm not going off of just you being able to talk like you a big dog. I'm not going off of you got all this stuff laden up as a fighter that you can be, or you too big for the money. I don't care about the money. I want boxers to make their money. Absolutely. I want you to retire from the sport better than where you came into the sport. No question. But at the same time, brother, if you want the biggest of monies, you need to do the biggest of work. And legacy makes money. At some point in time, you can't cheat the system. At some point in time, you got to go through a level of fire. And this has been the time. It's been that time for Tank for almost 4 years. And ain't fought nobody. And his toughest test is the brother who shocked the world. And was not in any way, shape, or form looking like a threat to the likes of Tank Davis. On paper. With everything we had about him. After this, you cannot go backwards if you're Tank. You've got to show up and show out against the best of the best from here on out. It can't be Jake Paul. It can't be these cash grabs and money grabs while you are a WBA champ. You need to go through and unify. You need to go through and be undisputed. You need to go through and do the work that a champion is supposed to be. You the face of boxing, then box, doggone it. You the face of this sport, then play the doggone sport. What the world? You can't say that you're the face of something, but you ain't there. You can't say that you run the place. You're the face that runs the place, but you ain't there in the first place. It makes no sense to me. My gosh, I'm sorry, I went on a tangent. I do apologize. It's got to be said, because if not, it's going to really. We got to keep preaching it, because if we don't preach that, if we don't teach that, if we don't constantly bang it over the head of all these people that you got to show up to be the best against the best, then we're gonna dilute greatness, and we can't have that. We can't have that at all. I'm telling you that, and I apologize. Also, Dale Moore, or not Dale Moore, doggone it, Dale Anderson, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in the show. I do apologize again. I do apologize for the for the tangent. I'm sorry. It's just it's stuff like this gets me going, because we can make all this stuff about the business side of boxing, which is true, but at the same time, the fighters still gotta fight. And if the fighters ain't gonna fight, even when stuff does make sense, it just doesn't. It eats away at this sport consistently, because the iron's hot now more than ever for this division. With Shakur doing this, and with Floyd Schofield doing this, but the Tank's got fighters aplenty. They can fight at 135, but he's not going about it. Before any of this drama, he still wasn't going about doing it. So it just irks my brain. It irks my brain, man. It's really frustrating. Let me see. Tank was never on a different level from Shakur. I get why you say that. For me personally, Tank was deserving to be on a different level, because I hadn't seen what Shakur could do with everything put together. Now that I have, now I can say for certain, they're on the same page. It's 1A, 1B. For them as fighters, it's 1A, 1B. For me, and for me personally, it's 1A, 1B in my perspective. I think, did I miss it? Trying to make sure I ain't miss missing. Okay, yeah. We still going. We still going through. Let's see. Shakur, Love King. What's good with you? How you doing? Again, I apologize for the rant and tangent. I am sorry. I just had to get that off my chest. But let me see. Shakur beats Tank in my opinion. Look, I'm starting to feel that way too. I'm really starting to feel that way. If it's a 50-50 fight and you ask me who could beat, I'd say I think Shakur would beat him. I think Shakur would beat him. Let me see. Ball is life. How you doing? Thanks so much for tuning into the show. So glad that you are here. Tank is in trouble. But boxing fan. Jake. Hopefully, I want Jake to be in trouble. I want Jake to get knocked out. In terms of Jake Paul, if we talk about Jake Paul, but is Tank in trouble? For me, Tank is in trouble. From the standpoint of, this is the biggest threat to him as a fighter, bar none above anybody. And we can see Shakur beat him. And we were saying that even with all the talent of Shakur, people were still saying that Tank was still a level above, that Shakur just wouldn't be able to handle. He's too strong. He's too fast. He's too powerful. Now I can say for certain now that I don't think that's the case anymore. For me personally. If you feel different, I would love to hear your thoughts. But for me personally, that's how I'm feeling about this whole thing. But let me see. I can see the Tony comparison. He was lights out though. I can see Tony comparison. He was lights out though. But yeah, I can see. I understand. Again, just from a stylistic standpoint, specifically with the offense that Shakur was throwing, I saw a lot of James Toney in that fight for me. Let me see. Anthony Parks, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here. Let me see what you got to see. Twink will get slid. Shakur got his number. Hey, look, hey, you see? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you sense it? There's a shift. There's a shift in the hierarchy of the boxing universe. Just take a quote from The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, from his Black Adam movie. There's a shift in the boxing hierarchy now. There's a shift in the hierarchy of boxing for who is indeed at the top of that, or at least who is untouchable to some degree. Tank not now. He ain't there no more. He's not at that almost God level that some people put on him. He's not there no more. He ain't. Because all of a sudden, these other boxers who are fighting other valuable contenders are putting on these great displays, and Tank is still doing it against names that, again, while good, ain't up to that level. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute now. Hold on. All these other people doing some work and showing me some stuff that I didn't know that they had. Showing me some growth, some evolution. And Tank is still Tank, which is still great. But all of a sudden, the gap ain't nearly as wide. The moniker of ironclad unbeatability is more than chinked. Brother, it is ripped open. Tank is vulnerable. He's vulnerable. As a threat, or other people as a threat to Tank, Tank is vulnerable. I'm so serious. And the Welch match is looking shaky. Again, it might not even happen. The Lamont Welch match, it might not happen. Genuinely. This ain't me just making this stuff up. I'm serious. This fight, even though Lamont's training, it legitimately might not happen at all. Because Tank is still not signed anything yet. And so it's off the bat with all this stuff going around with Tank outside of boxing and with the heat turning up inside of boxing. It might not happen. Let me see a different answer. To be fair, only reason why I want to see Tank versus Jake is because I want to see him hurt Jake or what he did to Mike Tyson. For what he did to Mike Tyson. Oh, absolutely. No, I completely understand that. I get it. I absolutely do get it. I do get it. Now, I hate it. I want to see Jake Paul go up against Zerto like he said he wants to do. Badu Jack. Go ahead. Fight Anthony Joshua. You fought at 223 two times. You fought at 223 and 199 most of your career now. You were almost ranked by the WBA. WBO wanted the belt commissions. They're reviewing it now and you might get your rank stripped. But if you really want to be about that life, don't fight Tank because you're almost 200 pounds. You're not great, but you've been boxing for 5 years. There's some level of ability there. And if you caught Tank, you could hurt him because it's an unfair weight advantage. There's weight classes for a reason. We know Tank would most likely destroy him, but still, if you want to really show that you about it, go fight Zerto. Go fight AJ like you say you wanted to, like you called out. Go ahead. Go fight Jai Apatow if you really want to be about that smoke. Go fight Badu Jack. I dare you to fight Badu Jack. You think he's the weakest champion out of all of them? I dare you to fight Badu Jack. He will beat you quicker than Zerto. He'll beat you quicker than Zerto Ramirez. And not because he's better than Zerto. Zerto will carry you for 7 rounds doing slick stuff and doing, with his offense, which is aplenty and sublime. He'll play with you and then he'll knock you out. Badu Jack will just try to get you out of there in less than 3 rounds. He will, because you're not on his level. And his brother is the immortal wonder. He keeps getting older, but he won't stop winning. Championship at every time he pops up on a card, it's just up. It's Badu Jack. It's for a title, isn't it? Yes, it is. Up, he won again. Wow, I can't believe it. He just exists only for championships, and he moves on. He goes back. He wins a chip and then goes back into hibernation, and then goes up. Time to wake up. I'm hungry for another title. He's like a bear. He's like a. He's like some woodland myth that just lives in the forest. He'll come out once in a blue moon, do something great, and then go back into the ether up until it's time for him to arise again. That's what he does. It's insane. But don't fight him, because he will eat you up. He will spit you out. He'll be insane. Let me see. Coach Lee Boxing, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. So glad that you're here. It's ice season, brother. It's cold out here in the boxing world. And more, actually, it's the opposite. But it's heating up, both literally outside down here in the south. It's like 95 degrees down here. And in the boxing world, it's a blaze. I can't wait. Let me see what you got to say. Though in the realm of boxing, Usyk is the GOAT. He wins by UD. think so too. Actually, I think it might be by split decision. I can't lie. This Dubois is looking like something serious. And we get ready to transition into Usyk versus Dubois next right now. Let me just finish these last of these chats and then boom, we switching gears into these weekend fights with Dubois, Usyk, Ramirez, not Ramirez, Ben Rodriguez, excuse me, versus Kafu, and a plethora of other fights, absolutely. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Man, soft Shakur, man, Kurt soft, Tev was more exciting. No, hold on. Time out. Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Tevin Farmer and his fight with Zepeda were incredible. With absolutely no question. You can't tell me. You couldn't tell me with a straight face that this fight wasn't also exciting. It may not have been the same back and forth affair. It wasn't the same back and forth affair as Zepeda versus Farmer in both instances. True, but you can't say this wasn't exciting. You can't call him soft. You can't call him soft. He fought like Tevin Farmer fought Zepeda in terms of like he was always in front of him. In fact, he moved less than Tevin Farmer. Shakur moved less than Tevin Farmer around the ring against Zepeda. And he put on a league's better dominating the performance. That just cleaned Zepeda in terms of, excuse me, sorry about that, didn't mean to hit the mic, but cleaned out Zepeda from the perspective of I outclassed you. There was no comparison. There was no comparison. You could call the Zepeda fight with Farmer, both of them, more exciting because it's back and forth. But brother, you can't say that this Shakur fight wasn't exciting. You can't. You can't. The brother threw almost 500 punches. Or collectively, they almost threw 1,000. Shakur threw upwards of 400. Ridiculous. Outlanded Zepeda in power punches. And in total punches. And landed at 56%. Like that, like we're not, something ain't adding up. I can't call him soft. He fought Zepeda in his own domain and beat him. You can't call him soft for that. You can't call meeting a volume puncher with volume and beating him. You can't call that soft. At least for me, you can't call him soft at all. Let me see. It's fine. I understand your frustration, and I also like your oh, you like my tangents. Well, hey man, look, I don't want to hog the spotlight. I mean, it is my show. I'm not giving on, let me rephrase that. It's my spotlight, doggone it. It's my show. However, I don't want to go and just run a ride without being able to read what you all got to say, because you all are integral to this show, no question about it. But if you like them, hey, I appreciate it. Hopefully, they're filled with substance. As angry as I can get at times. Hopefully they're filled with substance. And hopefully it's not just me saying stuff that's just out of pocket. Hopefully it's stuff that is okay. It makes, even if you disagree, it makes sense. Hopefully that's the case. Let me see. Berlanga got smashed. What do you think? Yeah, Berlanga. If I actually let me pull up. Let me make sure do it. We can switch into the other cards of the night with. Yeah. Okay, yeah. We can switch into the other sports topics and other fights that happened this weekend. We can switch gears real quick. Then Usyk Dubois. Then championship rounds. Cause we were like, okay, we just in time. We had hour 44. Yeah, we got time. We can do it. So Berlanga got absolutely decimated. Oh, this brother got cleaned out by Sheeraz. Oh my gosh. My goodness. Brother, Sheeraz just made a huge statement right now in the eyes of the boxing world as being a real threat to the likes of a Canelo Alvarez, at least from the standpoint of, hey, this brother got some crack. This brother got some real crack. He was able to do what Canelo couldn't do. In fact, I'll show you the replay. Here, where's the thing? Let me show you the replay of the knockout right now. Right here with the picture-in-picture. Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
And down goes Berlanga. And he's still landing.
Berlanga got beat on the inside by Sheeraz. And it was a fight that was, honestly,
he's going to have to breathe and relax right now. How quickly Berlanga can
move. It was Berlanga that was winning with the jab on the outside. And Sheeraz, when he closed the distance, got on the inside. Was doing great work. Right there. And see, right here, I thought the fight should have been stopped right there. After that knockdown,
and he's still clapping his hands together.
I thought that he was done. thought that the fight should have been hurt
bad.
because he lost
Referee
consciousness.
David Fields.
But he's shown with the right cross. He out of there, bro.
And there
No,
he's
no,
got
he
him
gone.
again.
As you can see,
That's
no,
it.
he gone. He gone.
That's it.
It was insane. It was insane. Sheeraz with that length, with that level,
Standing man.
more so with that
Hey,
power
this man
at
moved up to
168.
another weight class.
With that power at 168, brother, it showed true. It showed true. Hey, man, this man really was potentially weight drain. He potentially was legitimately weight drain. Yes, he still lost to Carlos Adames. He was injury and all this stuff, but he lost. No question. But he was indeed looking a whole lot better in this fight against Berlanga. Now, I will say this. Berlanga ain't using the head movement that Sheeraz was using. Or that Adames was using. Understandable. Head was more so on the center line. He had some defensive slips, but it was more instinctual rather than already trying to make himself hard to hit in the first place. And Berlanga is a product of unkept talent, which is insane. All the talk that he was doing, all the stuff that he wanted to instigate, all of the stuff that we thought he was going to bring into this fight with Sheeraz, that we thought he had learned from Edgar Berlanga, or that he had learned from Canelo, didn't show up. Didn't show up at all. And he made a mistake. And I said in the show, he got up too quickly. He got up too quickly and didn't let himself get settled and try to get back into the fight, banging his gloves and all that stuff. But it won't help because you still hurt. And now he's back to the back of the line. Oh, yeah, he's back to the back. And Berlanga is going to be a long road back to a title. Now, he's not done. He can still come back. He's young enough and has enough excitement and pop and enough selling power from a standpoint if he can talk his way into a good fight, like Willie Romero. He can still be back. But he's at the back of the line. He is way back for the world to have to see him wait to build his way back up, and he better build quick. I better not see any partying. I better not see any playing. I better not see any parades. I need to see him strictly in the gym working, because right now, brother, it's your last shot. This road to a title from the back going up, it's your last chance. You mess up here, you ain't getting up again. You lose again, most likely, you're shot. You're done. You're finito, finished. It's done. You getting a chance at a legitimate title ever. You got to be driven. And I said this at the end of the show last time. You have to be driven. If you're Edgar Berlanga, you cannot let yourself lose discipline when it comes to maximizing your talent. You got to change. Because if you don't, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. And Sheeraz right now against Canelo, similar to David Benavidez in terms of dimensions. Benavidez is 6'2". Sheeraz is 6'3". Benavidez got a 74-inch reach. Sheeraz got a 75-inch reach. Brother, you got the stuff that another dangerous fighter had or has going up against Canelo. Now that you're going to be the mandatory if Canelo beats Crawford. So what you going to do now? If in fact that fight does take place, you and Canelo. And if more than anything, if Canelo can fight against Sheeraz, and there's no qualms about it, though we called Berlanga a natural light heavyweight, a natural cruiserweight. He's too big. He don't belong in this division. If you say that about David Benavidez, but you don't say that about Sheeraz, but that's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. That ain't right. That ain't right at all. That is not right at all. Don't let that slide. That ain't right. There's no way in the world that that's right. If you can fight Hamza Sheeraz with the greatest of ease, and there's no struggle making that fight happen, you could have made that fight with David Benavidez years ago, and there shouldn't have been a struggle. And all the complaints should not have been a thing. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have at all. Again, just as food for thought. If we see that fight with Berlanga and with Sheeraz and Canelo go without a hitch in negotiations to making the fight, if it gets made, that should send up a red flag as to why you didn't fight David Benavidez when he was the mandatory for over 3 years, and you were saying he was too big and he brought nothing to the game. He brought nothing to the sport. He brought nothing to your legacy. Sheeraz didn't bring that either. He doesn't. If Benavidez doesn't bring anything to your legacy, Sheeraz sure enough don't bring nothing to your legacy. And it's not a disrespect to Sheeraz. I'm throwing his words back at him. Because if he's not good enough, if Benavidez doesn't bring enough for him to be worth fighting you, then Sheeraz, off of a controversial loss as his other most recent fight before Berlanga, and in beating your scraps in Berlanga, that doesn't bring anything either. Does it? No, it shouldn't. From that perspective, from that vein. Hypocrisy. Can't let that happen. Because if we do, greatness, again, gets diminished as we continue to say. Let me see. Mike Golden, what you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in the show. Let me see what you got to say right now. I think if Tank fought Shakur the way Zepeda did, Tank will get demolished. Tank will demolish Shakur. Styles make fights, period. Wait, so you're saying if Tank fought Shakur the way Zepeda, so if Tank was just relentless in fighting and punching at Zepeda, or at Shakur, excuse me, similar to how Zepeda was fighting against Shakur, then Tank would beat him. I don't know. I don't think so. That he would be more dangerous because he brings more power. But part of Tank's, that would be completely out of Tank's own fighting style. Tank is a methodical fighter. Him all of a sudden going guns blazing. You saw what happened when he went guns blazing last time against Lamont Roach. He was getting caught. He was losing those exchanges. When he was just throwing recklessly, trying to bang out with another banger, what happened? He was losing those exchanges. He was losing those rounds. He was losing the fight. He lost the fight in all actuality, though it was called a draw. Lamont beat him. He should have beaten him. And he beat him when those flurries were taking place. When Tank was opening up, willing to throw, letting his hands go, he was losing. When somebody's able to actually time and catch you. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen with Shakur, but it very well could. And I think that would be a mistake. Plus, he would gas himself out. Tank going that hard for that. If Tank threw that much for that long, Tank will gas himself out. Tank has stamina, yes, but it's not Zepeda's stamina. We're not stupid. It's not Zepeda's stamina. Tank cannot throw that much for that long because their bodies are different. Zepeda can do that because he is that much of a stamina machine. Tank fights smart, so he always has stamina. But he doesn't have that same level of gas. Tank. He doesn't. And that's not me trying to be disrespectful. I'm saying he doesn't have that type of gas tank. It's not him. And so I don't think he would. And if he did, I think that would be even more detrimental. Because it would be worse. Especially against somebody that's as refined as Shakur. To be able to pick you apart because you're reckless. Recklessness can't work for you. But it can also work against you. Especially when recklessness is out of your style. That is a problem. And for Tank, I think that would be a problem. But let me see. Except Joshua because he will kill Jake. What's the conversation for? I think this was in response to a previous topic. I can't think of it though. Something with Jake Paul. I think we talked about it, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Enlighten me on what this was referring to. Let me see. Knight Rider, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. So glad that you're here with the show with us today. Hey, welcome in. Hopefully you're having a laugh. Hopefully you're having some fun. Absolutely. Let me see. Where does Berlanga go from here? Shake my head. He goes back to the back of the line. I think I just addressed this. He's got to work his way back up. But if he's not disciplined, he'll never make it back to the top. He'll never make it back to the top. He's got to work to maximize. If he doesn't maximize what his body can do now and really turn into a real, again, and it's going to be an infighter, but he's going to have to turn into a more of a fine brawler. Essentially, it's going to be his best bet to win. But he's got to train that. Because right now, he hasn't been disciplined enough to create a style that is effective. Unless it's against a bunch of bums. Going up against real people, it can be problematic. He's got a good jab. That's the thing. He's got a good jab, deceptive reach. He's got tools that can be great. But he hasn't combined them to be something great. It's on him now to be what he can be. Because if not, back in the line that he never comes back from. A gatekeeper the way he turns it. Let me see. Trey, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. Let's see what you got to say. Edgar is very chinny. Now, I don't know if that's the case because he's only been knocked down in or not. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. I'll say this. The only people that he got knocked down from was Canelo and Edgar Berlanga. Or the only people that Edgar Berlanga has been down from is Canelo and Sheeraz. Now, the only people that person has knocked him out is Sheeraz. So it's hard for me to say that he's chinny when he's going up against two of some of the more powerful punchers in the division. One who now with weight drain is, or without the weight draining, is very much powerful and incredibly scary. And then Canelo, who's been able to fight people up until, he's been down 3 times? He's been down 3 times. Who's the third guy he was down against? Who am I missing that he was down against? Who was it he got? Sheeraz, Canelo. Who was the third guy? Was it the fight before Canelo that he got put down in? Oh, no, no. It was, Angelo. Thank you. Also, Rich Sanchez, what's good with you? How you? Thanks for tuning in. So glad that you're here. Appreciate it. And thank you for the help. Thank you so much. Yep, it was Angelo. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. It was Angelo that knocked him down, then he got back up. I understand, but it's like, we'll say this: his chin, it's not. At least now, we can say that his chin is nowhere close to what we expected it to be. We can say that now. And some people may have called that knockdown with Angelo a fluke. But you just got caught and then bing, boom, he won the fight. But definitively now, okay, I can see what you're saying, Trey. And though not as egregiously, I can agree that there is a level of concern with this chin now. I can say that, okay, it is, if you got some pop against him, he can be put down. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but it is now an added and known threat to him. That you can do some damage to him. And if you got him hurt, don't let up. That's the biggest thing. More than just a knockdown. But when he gets up, he's ready to go, but you got to go to put him out. If you wait around, he can't recover because he's done it in the past. Sheeraz didn't wait around. Canelo, to some degree, waited around. And then, boom, Berlanga was able to get back up and recover in a round or two, and then, boom, make it a competitive fight. He lost the fight, but made it an entertaining affair because he got his faculties back. But if you get him down, put him down. Don't let him recover. That's the biggest thing. You can get whatever. Plant versus Edgar would be should fight since they both coming off a loss. Yes. Yeah, I think somebody might have brought that up earlier. And I disregarded it. But I'm with you there now. That'll be a great. If we don't get Plant versus Charlo, then and instead we get Charlo versus Resendez, then Plant versus Berlanga. It's a great fight. I think makes sense. That might be the best next step for both of them. It's make or break for both of them. And I'm there for it. Absolutely. Tank is the lowest volume puncher, and Zepeda is the highest volume puncher. That fight will make Tank adjust, and I have Tank catches Zepeda left uppercut. Tank will set him up for the knockout. That's completely fine. I get it. I understand. That's not a bad way to look at it. My only concern is, outside of the other ones I said, Tank being the aggressor from the jump can be something that causes him to be not as effective outside of when he's able to let you give him a game plan or let you give him the building blocks to create the game plan rather than him having to come forward and build it himself with activity. I've seen Tank perform better when his opponent is more willing to engage versus when he's not. And with Shakur, he's not going to engage, or he's not going to be the first to engage. So Tank giving up his weapons early and Shakur adapting from there. Now, Tank by round 5, what you going to do to his adaptations? And if he changes again, what's going to be the point then? How you going to fare then? That's going to be interesting. Again, it's a great match, and I want to see it. I do want to see it. That's the biggest thing. It'll be an incredible type of fight to see. Edgar Berlanga versus Bruno Sheeraz. Ooh, this Sheeraz. Well, Sheeraz lost to Munguia, but Munguia was on PEDs. And I mean, I guess I could see that fight, yes, but I would be more inclined with Berlanga versus Plant. That would be my fight to make as my best thing. Okay, referring to Jake Paul fighting top fighters, including a heavy. Okay, thank you for the comment, helping to better encapsulate your talking. But let me keep on reading. Every time he gets caught, he's dropped back to the amateurs, and I don't think back to the amateurs. It's just he's again. It's the internal discipline. The work within himself is my struggle with Berlanga. And if he wasn't this unfocused at times, he could be better. Now, I'm not saying he still wouldn't have lost to Sheeraz. I had Berlanga beating Sheeraz, but I was wrong. I'm not saying the outcome would have been different, but I'm saying the fighter could be better. It's just he is dropping the ball on his own potential. That's my biggest concern. That's my biggest thing. Let me see. Teddy Burkshot, what's good with you? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in the show. I got Shakur in the upset. I'm not going to lie. I'm leaning that way. And like I said, it's early. All of this is just speculation. We're just talking because all of us are excited. But I can't lie. At this point in time, it ain't out of the question. It ain't out of the question for me that I think Shakur will be able to upset him. I think he'll be able to upset him. Let me see. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's see. I personally think Sheeraz isn't. Oh, okay. I personally think that Sheeraz isn't that good. I think UK boxing fans have different expectations than US fans boxing in terms of what they define as skilled. Lots of UK fighters didn't like Shakur's performance. Well, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. See, and it's like, here's the thing. Sheeraz, as an offensive fighter, Sheeraz is really good. His jab is so fast. Similar to Jai Apatai. His punches cut through the air. They do. And it's so destructive. It is. This makes Carlos Adames getting a draw and should have beaten Sheeraz. It makes that fight all the more impressive. But at the same time, Sheeraz is a great, dangerous offensive fighter. Defensively, he has problems. His high guard is not effective enough to stop a good jab getting through. He can at times get lulled into, hey, if somebody was faster, they could open up and hit you with shots that can hurt you. If they are able to make you fight off the back foot, Sheeraz doesn't have the same level of great production. There are still holes there. Understandable. But he's still a good fighter. He still is a good performer. He still is a dangerous threat. That if he just amped up his offensive capabilities and kept on improving them without the defensive aptitudes that I would love for him to have as a taller fighter, he would still be a dangerous brother. He's got that type of potential to him. So I think he is a good fighter. I'm not calling him great. Again, he beat Edgar Berlanga. I'm not saying this brother's all of a sudden elite. I'm not. Because we know how we feel about Edgar Berlanga. But at the same time, I'm not going to discredit Sheeraz because I think Sheeraz is indeed a good, he's a good fighter. He can be great. He can. My only issue is greatness requires defensive responsibility, which at times Sheeraz doesn't have. He looks focused, but again, he'll get caught with stuff and he's right here. And it's like, brother, just close up your guard or use your length and make yourself hard to hit. Fight tall, but don't fight with your chin in the air. And things of that nature. And he can be, those small changes can make him a very more dangerous fighter, or a much more dangerous fighter, excuse me. But again, he's young. He can grow. That's what I want to see from him. But I don't think he's a bad fighter. I think he's good. I think he's a really good fighter for me. A good fighter, not really good, but a good fighter that can turn into a great fighter very quickly. And that ball rolling into turning into a great fighter amps up with this win against Berlanga. But it's still got some work to do, at least in my estimation. Especially if he fights half like that weekend, but don't get caught up in the middle too long. Yep. I think you're talking about with the Shakur thing. Yep, I see that. Plant got a nice left hook, and he might stop Berlanga. Look, if he did, what was it? Was it Durrell? Was it Durrell that he caught with the knockout of the year with the left hook? It's a threat. It's just Caleb Plant. The gas tank is the problem. That's the thing. Caleb Plant, once he starts getting tired, a lot of stuff goes out the window with him. Once he starts getting fatigued, like with Cindy's, like with Canelo, we've seen it, like with David Benavidez, though Benavidez is more so of a complete dominating display. He'll go through and bang, bang, boom. Butter will do some great work. But then at some point in time, after round like 7, he'll start trailing off. He'll get fatigued. Footwork will stop. The jab won't be as effective. He'll be less willing to throw. The speed diminishes. The reaction time diminishes. The defense diminishes because he gets tired. Against Berlanga, if Berlanga can make it to those late rounds, he's got a good chance at beating him. Early on, though, Berlanga can get outboxed. But later on, though, that's where we got some real concern with. Absolutely. Let me see. Teddy Berkshire, I've always thought Shaq was the best of the big Shaq. Best of the big little three. Shaq. Talking about Shaquille Foster? Is that his name, Shaquille Foster? Or are you talking about Shaquille O'Neal? Don't know which one you're talking about. Clarify with me. We can work with it. Absolutely. Let me see. I think Emma Williams would also stop Berlanga as well. Oh, that's another fight I didn't think about. Whoa. And Sheeraz knocked out. Sheeraz knocked out. Was it Sheeraz that knocked out Williams? And Sheeraz knocks out Berlanga. Does Emma Williams beat him? That's a good fight. I can't lie. I didn't even think about that fight. I don't know if Williams knocks him out, but that is a good fight. Excuse me, voice crack. My gosh, that is a good fight. I can't lie. I didn't even think about that on the radar, but that's not a bad fight at all. That's not a bad fight. That's not a bad fight at all. My goodness, that's actually a pretty competitive affair. I can't lie. Berlanga's career was rushed after the knockout train. It was, but it's also during that knockout streak, he did not refine his abilities. Once the knockout stopped coming, he didn't get better. That's the issue. I ain't got no problem with the knockout streak stopping, but their lack of improvement. See, Moses Atuma, he's getting moved on incredibly quickly, but we're seeing elevations to his game every night out. Berlanga, it wasn't the case. It wasn't. And that's the problem. Let me see, Cool Boy Steph against Foster. What do you think? Or Cool Boy Steph against Foster. What do you think they need to make that happen? I mean, shoot, I don't know. Let me see, because Fulton, Stephen Fulton, I think is a champ at 140. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Unless I'm thinking of another brother. Hold on. Wait a minute. We're researching. Hold on. If we're trying to put stuff together correctly, we are willing to do research. If I don't know something, I ain't ashamed to try to find it out. So yeah. So Fulton currently right now is a WBC featherweight champ. And he did improve against Foster or against Figueroa. And I think this was a complete dominant win by Fulton against Figueroa in the rematch. But him, shoot. Honestly, I'm surprised that fight hasn't already been announced. At least again from my from my vantage point, because it's an entertaining fight, it makes sense. So Shakur has been, not just up and coming, but he has been a serious threat at the division. I don't really know what would need to happen, because that fight makes sense as a fight that would, like, I can see it. Unless we're looking at Stephen Fulton for potentially trying to fight against the likes of, an Angelo Lee or an Espinoza. Now that he's got the belt and he's looking to fry bigger fish at this point in time. And again, right now, we got people of the biggest ranking fighters in the division. Angelo Lee, Espinoza, Nick Ball, Fulton, Figueroa, which again, Stephen Fulton beat, Alberto Lopez, Bruce Carrington, Robeisy Ramirez, fighters of those light, I believe are ranked above Foster. So I think Foster may have a ways to go, or a little bit of a ways to go before getting in that top 10 competitive round. And I think Fulton's more so looking to get with these other bigger names, like, again, the Angelo Lees, the Nick Balls, even the Bruce Carringtons of the world more than anything, because they'll be more lucrative and they're also ranked higher. At least, again, from what I can see right now, if I'm speculating as a makeshift promoter businessman. But again, I could be wrong, but that's just my point of view and my opinion. Let me see. By the way, I'm enjoying your show, my guy. Hey, man. Hey, I'm glad you are. And again, hopefully you like it. Hey, again, shameless plug, as we got people like Dry Turkey in the mix right now. Thanks for tuning into the show. So glad to see you. Appreciate you joining in for the ride. But real quick disclaimer. Please, if you're liking what we're hearing, leave a like on the stream, comment your thoughts and opinions, and keep on showing up and seeing what you got to say. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and keep on sharing the show. Please, it would mean the world to me if you kept on sharing the show with with anybody that you can. And also, if you want to give us support, I know I don't like doing this, but I got to make a living somehow. It's the best way to do it right now without super chats and whatnot. So if you want to support the show, want to keep the lights on, and help this show continue to grow, and for us to invest back into the show, hey, Cash App, PayPal, links in the description as well. If you want to support anything, we'll do. Again, $1, whatever the case, whatever you can give would mean the world to me. And hey, help us to make this show better and better. Absolutely no question about it. And I appreciate all the love and support. And hey, we're going to keep on rocking. And in fact, speaking of rocking, we can go through now what the best part of this show, because we're past the 2-hour mark. We can go into the championship round. So ladies and gentlemen, if it's your first time, welcome to the championship rounds. Yes, sir. Where we talk about anything and everything that you all want to discuss. Yes, we'll keep on going through the topic of the show, but now you all drive the conversation out for the rest of the show. Next 30 minutes to an hour, whatever you want to talk about, boxing, basketball, football, video games, sports, movies, all this stuff. If I can talk about it and you want to have a discussion on it, hey, we can do it. We can have it. 30 minutes to roughly an hour, depending on how the chat goes. Whatever you all want to say, let your voice be heard. Let your voice be known. And let's see what you all got to help finish this show out with a bang, with topics that you all routinely want to discuss of your own volition. Absolutely. But let me make sure I'm not missing anybody as we continue to go through these chats thus far. Let me see. Demetrius Andrade will cook Plant. Ooh. I've not even thought of that matchup. One, is Andre still fighting? And two, I might have to agree. I might have to agree. I don't know if he's still fighting, but I might have to agree. I might have to agree. And again, if the rounds get late, and with how tricky Andre is, Caleb Plant can be in a world of trouble if he fought against Boo Boo Andre. At least in my estimation. But let me see. Dry Turkey, like I already said, how you doing? Thanks for tuning into the show. Let me see what you got to say. Morrell last 3 fights. Also, let me make sure there ain't nothing else playing on okay, I had to make sure there wasn't nothing else playing on the side of the social medias. So, because I don't want y'all saying something's playing in the background and y'all can't hear what I'm saying. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Morrell, wait, hold on. Okay, there we go. Morrell, last 3 fights. Good guys, come on, show up. Okay, go. Morrell's last 3 fights versus Hot Rod, Benavidez, Katayev have been exciting, but his performances haven't been the dominance we saw at 168. Same goes for Benavidez, whose power wasn't translated to 175. But see the difference between the two, Benavidez has been winning dominantly, though his power hasn't been as dominant. It's still been dominant performance by Benavidez, even though the fights with, even though the power hasn't been the same. That's the greatness of Dave Benavidez. He can still be the same Benavidez and still show the same dominant levels of offense and ability without having power as his main saving grace. However, when we look at Morrell, Brother Morrell got caught and got put down against Katayev. Or Katayev, that's what it is, Katayev. Morrell got put down by Katayev. Don't forget that. He got dropped by Katayev. And Katayev, again, was more so walking forward with his hands down. And Morrell almost got him out of there. But honestly, I thought that Katayev won that fight. I thought that Katayev had won that fight because of the better shots. And honestly, the amount of times that Morrell was willingly sitting and letting Katayev tee off, and shots from Katayev was getting through consistently, and the offense, the speedy offense, and the jab of Morrell, which was working great, especially later on, wasn't able to match the same level of danger or output necessary to mitigate what we see with the likes of Katayev, and again, the hooks and the destructive nature to the body and to the head. I didn't think that he won that. I thought he should have lost that fight, at least for me, my estimation. But regardless of which, the performance ain't the same because the dominance isn't there. Because now Morrell isn't able to be the same fighter. He's not able to be the same guy. Stylistically, he can't use the stuff that he wants to use to the same way without the threat level being more dominant. The durability is better. The power is better. The showed up defense that he's normally able to use to mitigate the offense of his opponents, it's not working the same. You know why? Because he's not as defensively adept as David Benavidez. And now it's starting to show. It's starting to show. There's every single time the gap in ability keeps showing up more and more and more. It keeps showing up more and more. It's an insane thing, but it's a real thing. And it speaks to the greatness of David Benavidez. Morrell can still be great. He can still be good. But it's like these performances, they're not showing us, okay, Morrell is at the best of the best, can be the best, or belong in that tier. It's not showing us right now. Let me see. You had the fighter fought. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Shakur, Haney, Tank, in terms of ranking, or in terms of just ability? Or just naming people off. Right? Expound on this comment, if you could, Teddy Berkshire. Does this make you think Yard can beat Benavidez? Excuse me. Does this make you think Yard can beat Benavidez more since Morrell gave Benavidez a tough fight? No, it doesn't. It does not. If anything, I'm thinking that Yard's going to have a worse outing than Morrell, because Yard doesn't have the stamina. And Yard is also, as we talked about before on the show, Yard apparently hasn't improved in his training in a while because his coaches, again, reportedly, don't push him to be better. And yes, he gave Archie Benavidez phenomenal work. Absolutely. But at the same vein, that was a while ago. And since Archie Benavidez, Yard has not shown any semblance of the same ability, any semblance of the same threshold of getting up there in talent. Outside of Lyndon Arthur, it's been kind of ho-hum to some degree. It has. In terms of how we view Anthony Yard's production, that's problematic. That's very problematic. And that's not going to be able to be successful going up against the likes of David Benavidez, from my perspective. Because this ain't saying that Yard can't knock him out. He can. Yes, he can. Don't get it twisted now. Yard can knock out David Benavidez. Yes, he can. If Morrell can crack him, though it was few and far between, like one time, if he can crack him and stun him, Yard can knock him out. There's no question about that. But it's the fact that without pop, Benavidez can still overwhelm you in the same way. And Yard, when faced with that even higher level output, but also more rudimentary in terms of his own offensive skill level, I don't know if he can beat. I don't think he can beat him. Because the talent, the legitimate talent of Benavidez blows Yard out the water. He is turned without pop or without the ability to say, I'm just too big for anybody in this division. He has still been able to be the same Benavidez that has been destructive, coming forward, walking you down with volume, being able to beat you to the punch on the inside, being able to out-jab you on the outside, being able to nullify defensively or nullify with this defense opposition at a better clip than he's ever done in his entire career. And going up against heavy-handed punchers and people that should put him in trouble, people that are the same size as him. He's doing the same stuff that he was doing to people that were smaller than him. It's just, he just ain't knocking them out. But everything else is exactly the same, if not better, specifically on the defensive end. His offense has even become more nuanced. His jab is more educated. His distance management is leagues better than what it was at 168. He's got a high guard, a Philly shell, and a cross guard. They can blend at any given point in time. He's using a cross guard, which ain't been used since the old days. Since, again, the most prevalent example, Muhammad Qawi and George Foreman. And to some degree, Evander Holyfield. But since that era, 90s to early 2000s, it ain't been seen since. But it's used with Benavidez because it's an effective guard that if you know how to use it, brother, you can become a dominant defender. A dominant defender and a dominant offensive fighter because it blends defense and offense perfectly. That's why Foreman used it. That's why people like Archie Moore, most knockouts in boxing history, used it. That's why the likes of George Foreman. That's why the likes of, again, Muhammad Qawi, though who was 5'11", fighting heavyweight and light heavyweight, cruiserweight, was able to do what he did. It's a great defensive tactic. People just don't want to learn it. And there's not many people to teach it. It ain't. But Benavidez understands the nuances of how to use it. He's added more to his game than we've seen most do in the boxing realm since his rise to 175 from 168. Yard is not adapted at that same clip ever. Ever. He ain't done it. So I don't think he can beat him. I know he can beat him, but I don't think he will. Because I truly believe Benavidez is going to do the same thing he's done all of his career. And with Yard tiring out, if it gets to round 7, because it always happens, it's not going to be the same. He ain't gonna be able to do what he's not gonna be able to do it. Again, Teddy Berkshire, you said it best. He has a great chance, no question. I'm not diminishing that he can't knock him out. But I know what I'm seeing with David Benavidez, and I know what I have not seen with Anthony Yard. There is a league's gap in skill. There's a league's gap in skill. That Yard, he ain't there yet. If he beats him, great. But I don't think he's going to be able to. Right? For me, I don't think he's going to be able to. Let me see. In a way, now has a triple threat of sparring partners in preparation for injury. Wait, who? Oh, wait, hold on. Time out. Who else is in the... Who are these names? Who else is coming through and helping out, in a way, prepare for MJ? Ahmad Ali, again, which we are waiting and clamoring for that fight to take place. If you know, because that's news to me. If you know, please tell me so I can see it. Let me see. Welch, do you think McCombie will give Pacheco a tough fight? Yes, he will. Let me tell you something right now. Hey. You better watch out. Diego Pacheco, you better watch out. You better watch out if you Diego Pacheco. Oh my gosh. McCombie is a rudimentary fighter with the punching power of the gods. And this cat, Pacheco should be able to beat him with ease. He should be able to beat him with ease. But brother, McCombie will, again, Caleb Plant, he knocked down Caleb Plant to the body through his guard and had Caleb Plant flying across the ring. That's unnatural. This man he had Caleb Plant out. I'm talking about gone for a solid 3 seconds on the way down when the first knockdown was called. When Caleb Plant got up. Again, ridiculous. Diego Pacheco can't, like, this power with McCombie, it's the scariest thing. But his talent is nowhere close to Diego Pacheco. Absolutely. And if Caleb Plant can beat McCombie on the inside, forcing him to have to fight in close quarters, so can Diego Pacheco, but it's still a risky call because of the sheer power. But we should see Diego Pacheco handle McCombie with the same level of expert dominance that only Diego Pacheco can do. It's great. But you beat me to it. But it's gonna be a solid test. It's gonna be a solid. If there was ever an instance to see, okay, Pacheco, if you get cracked, what can you do? This is it. This is it. For anybody at 160, I believe this fight's at I believe this fight's at 168, correct? Let me make sure. Let me make sure this fight is at 168 or is it at 160? Hold on. I'm looking. Okay, yeah, it's at 168. See, it's at super middle. With McCombie, if we want to see if Pacheco ever gets in line to fight Canelo Alvarez, because again, that's the biggest thing. That's what everybody's looking at. Or if he fights the Hamzats or the Imbilis of the world at super middleweight. If we ever want to shut down the notion that he doesn't have a chin or that he does have a chin, if we want the question answered of whether or not he can or cannot take the power of a Canelo, of an Mbili, of a Sheeraz, even of a Berlanga, this is the fight to prove the point. This is going to be the fight. This is going to be the litmus test. If there was any question of whether or not Pacheco can take pop or not, it's going to be answered in this fight. It's going to be answered. I'll guarantee you it's going to be answered. This is going to answer the question of if Pacheco can take, if he eats a shot from Canelo, what's going to happen? And whether we say he can take it or whether we say he can't take it, this is going to be that fight that defines it. I promise you. Because it should be an easy win, but it's not going to be an easy fight. It should be a outclassing win. It should be again, another Pacheco showcase that potentially ends in a knockout. But it's not going to be an easy win. Oh, it's not going to be an easy win at all. I guarantee you. I promise you that. But real quick, before we continue, Dubois versus Usyk. I know we kept touching on it earlier. I think now we got set aside time for it. And we can discuss it. Now that we're in the championship rounds, we kind of covered everything else. We can talk about it now if we want to in more further detail. And again, we're going to talk about this on Thursday as well as on Friday also. But for the initial things, how do you all think this fight is going to go? And what's your opinions on Dubois versus Usyk? Do you feel that Dubois is going to be able to get his revenge against Usyk this time around? And potentially a rematch is going to be the match that shows Usyk getting dethroned and Dubois finally reaching not just the pinnacle, but potentially eclipsing everything that we said he was going to be as he came into his career as a dominant, dangerous, hotly contested heavyweight in this division. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear from you all exactly what you think about what this fight is going to be. As I'm drinking on my drink, I have neglected and drinking my coffee today. I'm not gonna lie. I have neglected. That's some good. See, with that, like what's it called? Italian sweetener creamer. I can't remember the actual name of it, but no, that's dope. That's good. I like my coffee, so it's good. It's and I like it very sweet. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not one of those people. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't do the doggone stuff where it's like drinking black or drinking nothing at all. Nah, give me sugar. Give me sweets. Give me everything under the sun. I don't want to drink straight black. I want my coffee to have a hint of flavor. I want it to be digestible. If it's too tart, brother, I ain't having that. I'm sorry. If y'all want to say I ain't man enough, fine with me. I'm a boy at heart. I don't know. Some of y'all, if that's how you like it, that's how you like it. That ain't me. I want my dessert with my breakfast. I'm gonna say that. I want my dessert with my bagels and with my bacon and eggs when I'm up in the morning. I can't lie. I ain't ashamed about it. I ain't ashamed about it. But again, Usyk versus Dubois, and then also, we probably won't have enough time, but Ben Rodriguez versus Kafu is also another mega fight that's going to take place that we want to see. Shoot. Oh, I thought LeBron got traded. I was about to say we're gonna stop the show right now. But with that fight, when I am very, very concerned. I'm concerned with the mentality of Dubois going up against Usyk. Because this brother, if Dubois really does stick to, hey brother, how dare you? Who do you think you are? That same bravado that he had against AJ and just walks down Usyk to try to just, I'm going to just be a tank and destroy you. Brother, Usyk, I know you can beat him. But it's not going to be the slips and stuff. It's going to be you might have to go to war with Dubois. You can win it, absolutely. But it's going to be a tougher test. I promise you. I know Usyk is better. And I know Usyk should win. I have Usyk winning, absolutely. But honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if I have him knocking out Dubois again. But this is a different Dubois. That's the whole issue. It's a different Dubois. And because it's a different Dubois, but this is a different animal to fight against. And I'm not going to lie. I got my concerns for that fight. But let me see. Manny Pacquiao weekend getting pumped. Hey, let's almost forgot. Let's not forget. Brother, it's here. One of the legends returns to the ring. Manny Pacquiao's coming back. We almost, with all this stuff about Shakur, and this past weekend, brother, another dominant fighter is returning to the ring. Former or a Hall of Famer, already looking to get back and become a champion and becoming one of the, I think it would be what? The second oldest champion in heavyweight history. Beating Foreman and only under Bernard Hopkins, who beat his own record at becoming a champion at like 48, 50, something stupid along those lines, which is insane. But man, Pacquiao, I'm excited for it. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, let's not forget, for those of you who don't know who's going to be on that card for the Pacquiao card, it is going to be another night of absolute barn burner events. Isak Cruz is on that card. Is it Angelo Ferrero is also on that card. A rematch of one of the great wars that they had in their first fight, going up against or going up on the same card as Benavidez versus Morrell. Nah, it's insane. It's ridiculous. It is preposterous. The level of the amount of stuff coming down the ringer come this week, and we're gonna be here trying to cover as much as we can about it, because it's gonna be an incredible display. But it's a night filled with action, a night filled with fervor. We just are scared that Pacquiao's gonna get put to sleep. No, don't clap for that. No, don't clap for that. No, don't clap. No, we don't want to clap for that. We are scared. We're horrified. I can't lie. We might have ourselves a very short-lived unretirement if we see Pacquiao get put to sleep. Because I'm telling you, Maybe the rest has made Pacquiao's legs better off. Maybe he's recovered and now, okay, he can do one more performance utilizing at least close to what we know Pacquiao can be with his legs and the explosiveness and the in and out boxing and the hand speed and foot speed. Maybe time has done Pacquiao some good. Maybe. Or maybe not. Like I said, we're gonna break down that fight fully on Thursday. Don't worry. Give me Thursday. I'll have a breakdown of that fight. I'll tell you who wins and why. I'll tell you the risk and rewards. And if you want to use my stuff, hey, feel free. But doggone it, I got my concerns. I can't lie. I'm scared. I am scared. But we're going to get pumped for it. We are excited for it because it is on the backs of a litany of insane cards that we all can't wait to see. I promise you. It's going to be insane. Let me see. Dale Anderson. Marlon Tapales. Makito Nakano. And Sabu Murata. Oh, all three of them. And they're all southpaws. See, this is good. This is really good. And again, excuse me, I was fumbling over the words because I was trying to make sure I said them correctly. I apologize if I missaid them. I do apologize. I don't mean to skew or mess up names. Sometimes it'll just take me a little bit of time. But this is really good. This is really good. This is a great line of work to have you prepped for, again, what can be one of your more physically demanding fights going up against MJ. Couple that with being able to counter the stylistic nature of MJ. And to potentially not get caught again. Because mind you, like I said, he had the last two fights anyways been down. He's been hurt. He's been in trouble. Now he's come back and done what he does. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that we want to see a habit of, in a way, getting put on the ground. And MJ can do just that again. And can also potentially end the show. Oh, no question about it. He can. This is a fight that Inoue can lose. Let's make it clear right now. This is a fight that Inoue can lose. This is absolutely a fight that Inoue can lose. And again, Inoue, in my opinion, as a talent, is the best fighter in the world. Pound for pound, he's my number two. And honestly, I'm honestly starting to put this brother at one because of the consistency at which he's been fighting. With Usyk not fighting nearly as consistently, though the back of that Fury win is carrying a lot of heavy weight, which is why he's still consistently seen as either number one or number three. And even Usyk said that Crawford was number one. So we can have a mismatch hodgepodge of who's who when it comes to the boxing world in terms of those top three rankings. But anyway, brother, he's right there. Don't mean that he's not unstoppable. It doesn't mean that he can't be beaten. And Tapales, if he does, and Tapales is great preparation for MJ. And he's gonna need it. Because if he ain't prepped properly, in a way, MJ can stop this run. He can't. I'm not saying he's going to. Trust me, I don't think he's going to. I do think Inoue is a better fighter. And I do think Inoue is going to knock him out. He will. He's going to knock him out. I'll call it right now. He knocks him out in 9. I'll call it right now. MJ gets knocked out by Inoue in round 9. And Inoue retains the title. I truly do. And then early 2026, we get Inoue versus Junto Nakatani. Along with the other mega fights that we have at 122, potentially going up to 126. This is real. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 118, not 122. No, 122. Yeah, 122. I'm sorry. Junto was at 118. 122 to 126. We see Inoue and Junto fight at 122. With Junto moving up, and then, boom, then we see the ultimate thing of him going up to 126 to fight Nick Ball, fight Espinoza, fight Angelo Lee, potentially rematch the likes of Stephen Fulton, maybe fight a Bruce Carrington, which I didn't even think about that. Hey, we could see Inoue fight against Bruce Carrington. Brother, wouldn't that be a sight to see? Oh my gosh, that would be insane. Hypothetically, that fight got made. But it's still, the world is Inoue's oyster. And I'm glad he's training with these three because they are going to help him immensely. But just know, he's training with three people because MJ is one of them ones that you got to take this brother as serious as death itself. Because if he can do you in, yes, he can. He can do you in if you ain't careful. If you ain't careful at all. So I'm excited for it. And it only furthers my excitement for that fight with MJ coming down the pipe in, I believe, September. So I can't wait for it. Let me see. Manny said he wants to fight a couple. What?
Hey, look at this.
Excuse
We
me?
got the problems here.
What?
We got the problems here.
No. Stop. Stop. Please. Please stop. Please. Pacquiao, no. Please don't. Please don't fight. Also, Macau B, what's good with you? I'm sorry. I'm seeing your chat late, but what's good with you? How you doing? So glad that you're here. Thanks for tuning into the show. We're in the championship rounds right now, but brother, please know for everything that we need. Please stop. Please no stop clapping for this man. We don't want to see him fight longer. On everything we need, please don't fight for a couple years, but please don't. Please no. Oh gosh, no. No. I don't want to see you against Brian Over Jr. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see you potentially going. Well, if you beat him, what, you gonna move up to 154? You gonna fight Boots? Huh? You gonna fight? You gonna fight Virgil Ortiz? You gonna try to get Ugas out of retirement? Let me get my get back? Brother, please, make one shot and then stay home. Please. I love Pacquiao. I love you. Pacquiao, you're one of my favorite fighters ever. Pacquiao, I have said that you would beat Mayweather if y'all had fought truly within both of you all's primes. But that does not mean that same sentiment exists right now for this specific situation against the top. No. Please no. Please no. Because if you beat Barrios, which again is highly unlikely, if you beat Barrios, you got Norman. And then if you beat Norman, brother, you got Stanionis potentially if you want to go that route. Or what most likely would happen, you go up to 154. Let me keep on trying. Or dare I say, you fight Tank down at 135 and try to cut weight and go back down. Though you ain't been at 135 for like upwards of a decade plus. Shoot. That would be ridiculous. Please, don't. Unless you show me you can fight great and you look like the Pacquiao of like, of like 2014, 2016. You look like the Pacquiao that beat Keith Thurman. You look like the Pacquiao that was robbed of a win against Jeff Horn, though you dominated that fight, almost knocking out Jeff Horn, and it should have been a clean sweep for you. And it should have been you getting the title and fighting Crawford instead of Jeff Horn fighting Crawford. If you fight like that, okay, maybe we can have a different conversation. But brother, at 46, coming up on 47, brother, Lord knows I don't want this. I don't want that to happen because I don't want to see my man put out. Absolutely, Pacquiao versus Tank could be on the horizon. Please, good gosh, no. My goodness. Please, no. Please, no. Please, no. Please, Lord, no. Don't let that on every, oh gosh. Pacquiao, see, I hate the fact that Pacquiao has so much, pride and drive that he's trying to push himself further than he ever can. I do hate the fact. But it's like, at some point, especially after the last time we've seen you, there's a level of reality that's got to take place that just won't let, we know time is unbeaten. And time already beat you. That's the thing. Time already beat Pacquiao. If he comes back and wins, again, one of the greatest feats I've ever seen in boxing history. But at the same time, brother, there's a such thing as too much dip on your chip. And this might be one of those things. Good gosh, I hope Pacquiao and Tank ain't on the horizon. But I don't even know if Pacquiao can make 135. Because he's been at 147, closer to 154 for years now. Once later in his career, when he was still winning championships, when he was fighting against people like Margarito, Miguel Cotto, 146, close to 147, 154, those ranges. Tank would go to 147. See, no, he wouldn't. No, where's that? No, he wouldn't. Actually, let me make that louder. No, he wouldn't. Look, Tank would not go to 147 to fight back. And this is, even with as much money as that may take, even with as much money as that may bring, Tank has had big money fights sitting in his lap. But because of that 140, they wouldn't do it. He won't do it. As much as I would love for him to do that, that opens up too many doors that he doesn't want to go through. Because he's not fighting above 140. Getting to 140 is a stretch. Even now. I doubt he would try to fight Pacquiao for it. Because if he did, it would be like, well, what's the hold? Then everybody's going to say, well, now you fighting at 135. The world. Why? Why bother? It opens up a can of worms that he just wouldn't want to get into. It just does. And again, with them still having the business to handle at 135, excuse me, I got something in my eye. My apologies. As I'm trying to get myself right. It would be, even for the money, that might be too big of a jump. But then I can't even say that because he's willing to fight Jake Paul at 200 pounds. So maybe it might not be that big of a jump either if it's somebody he feels he can win. So yeah, you might for the money, you might be right. I struggle to see it because it would be somebody who beat Barrios as well. So just by proxy of that might be something that Tank feels like, even with the money, that's too big of a threat. Because even with big money fights, also, Tank, if you're a threat level to him, that is substantial. He doesn't take it. Even when the money is there. Unless it's like ridiculous. And the only ridiculous amount of money that you can see happening is Jake Paul. Sadly, it's Jake Paul. And not the likes of, a Pacquiao. Though he will still make bank. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me see. King Judah, what's going on with you? Hey, what's up, King? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. Let me see, y'all finally realizing Shakur is better than Tank. Hey, brother, like I said, I ain't had no bias against it. I have been consistently saying that Shakur can be a threat. This fight validated for me that, hey, both of them are right here. They're neck and neck. For me, they're right here with each other. And the style that Shakur fights, if he adapts it a little bit, goes a little more using his feet while still being able to trade and willing to trade like he did against Zepeda and somewhat of the same fashion, and sit in the pocket somewhat like Welch, yeah, he can beat Tank. He can absolutely beat Tank. He's got the build and the style to beat him and the IQ to beat him. Yes, he does. Our issue has been with Tank, brother, fight the brother. I don't care if you think you're big and bad. Get in the ring with him. Do what you do best if you're like that. But you haven't. And you won't, seemingly, against anybody. Unless Jake Paul. We don't like that. Even the fight with Lamont Welch, like we consistently have said, is in danger of not happening. Because as we speak right now, unless something else has changed, Tank has not signed the contract on his own page. Hold on, I'm so sorry. Real quick, I'm seeing, is something going on with LeBron? Okay. Look, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up. Like I said, we talk about more than boxing on this show. Primarily, we talk about boxing, but we do discuss more stuff. There's been a lot of stuff going on with LeBron, with potentially him getting traded out of LA, going to maybe Dallas or Cleveland. Dallas, ironically enough, looking like the best pick so far for that whole situation taking place. And though the Lakers are only a piece away from having them to be contenders right here, right now, this year, they are stupidly trying to prep for the future and trying to hold off making moves, hold off paying people until 2027 when they can have more free agents and potentially rebuild around Luka. When you got Luka and LeBron with, at this point in time, a very good built situation of people. Brother, all you need is a couple more paid, valuable players. And you got yourself a run at a title today. For the next 2 years, for the life of LeBron's contract, for the extension that he signed, which was up until 2027. Y'all could make a run at a title today, but you're still spending money like you're broke. You're still spending money like you're '07 Cleveland, instead of keeping the pieces that people want to stay and getting a roster that people want, that can actively put themselves in contention to beat OKC, to beat Cleveland, to beat Boston, to beat the Houston Rockets, who have just turned into a real NBA Finals contender. To beat the Nuggets, who are more vulnerable than ever before. You got the space and you got the dough, but you ain't trying to take the hit stupidly. You're going to cost yourself. You're going to cost yourself. Bron's not happy. The fans ain't happy. Luka ain't even happy with that. There's some problems in LA right now, boy. And this can snowball into LeBron being gone. And the Lakers, again, are back at a stage where ain't nothing going to be the same. And the very pinnacle of potential just poof, goes off into the wind because you wasted time trying to be too smart for your own good. See, we talk about boxers. They're too smart at times and they think too much in the ring, and that's why they lost. Amanda Serrato tried to be too cute, tried to think too much and how to beat Katie Taylor in their third fight instead of just building off of what worked the first two. And she lost worse than she ever lost before in her trilogy because she thought too much. They overcompensated. And this is the same that's happening with the Lakers right now. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. And again, that is frustrating. That is frustrating, and that's brutal. That is brutal in so many ways. That is just, shoot. I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. Let me see. Tank already beat Barrios. Tank already, a lot of people Tank already beat. But Tank beating Barrios is impressive. But Tank was in his prime. And again, Tank coming up to 140, insane. That was a great win, absolutely. Pacquiao beating Barrios at this stage in Pacquiao's career. You can talk about whether or not Barrios has gotten better or worse. But Pacquiao beating this brother now. Oh, shoot. With 6 years out the ring, in his first fight back for a title against a reigning champ, man, heavy hitter, heavy-handed too. That would be impressive. And again, the last thing before we go, I wanted you to read this quote. Let me see. LeBron, AD, Kyrie, Coop. Don't forget Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and a bench that is actually built to shoot and equipped to shoot, and Klay Thompson. But you move some pieces around from bench to starters. You got yourself one of the best well-rounded teams in all of the NBA. Perimeter defense might not be great, but interior defense, rebounding. Understand, Dallas has everything that LeBron and AD wanted. They got a 3-center rotation with AD, Lively, and Gafford. They got 2 guards that can do work. Kyrie, and then not Dante Escom, but Kyrie and I think Hardy. I forget his first name, but Hardy. You got Klay Thompson. You have a good rotation of quality guards and forwards. And if health stays consistent, you got chemistry. And you got depth. And you have everything that you need to take the weight off of LeBron. And AD carrying the load just like he did in LA when he was coming into his own. And all they needed was another big. All they asked for was one big man with the roster that they had when AD was there. And the Lakers still didn't get one. Now they got three. And AD doesn't have to work again if AD doesn't get injured. He can have the same type of minutes that he had when Dwight, who was it? When Dwight, who was it? Dwight, JaVale McGee, and AD were all on the squad. And I think Pau Gasol as well. He can have that same level of, okay, I don't got to be so dominant inside that I risk injury. And he can help alleviate that risk and let you survive to the playoffs. And then boom, now we can do work. You got three killers on the court. Two of them already won a title. Oh no, four of them already won a title. With Cooper Flag, if they don't trade Cooper Flag for LeBron as part of that package, brother, you are built. You're built. You're built for your present, your future, and down the line. Well, that's insane. And that'll be the ultimate kind of flip-flop. That will literally be the last laugh from being hated by the Dallas Maverick fans and by the league as a whole. Being called the worst owner in sports. One of the dumbest decisions in history. Trading Luka Doncic in his prime. Coming into his prime. At the start of his prime at 26 years old. You're trading your franchise piece. After just losing Dirk Nowitzki. You get Luka in your lap. And you give him away. And now all of a sudden you can get everything that the Lakers had and more. And be in better position to fight for a title than the Lakers. Oh, that would be one of the most insane feats of irony I've ever seen. That would be insane. That would be ridiculous. But again, last thing, as we're getting ready to close out this segment, wanted to read you this quote from Mike Tyson in his position on how he saw this whole fight with Shakur, Zepeda, and his own means of why this was impressive in his eyes. If you say that you're not as impressed with what Shakur did, in my opinion, again, quoting Mike Tyson, in my opinion, Shakur Stevenson looked the best he ever looked in his last fight. Those masterful combinations and head movement. He's still young, and doing that, he's still young, and doing that, he looks superb. Everybody wants him to show people he can take a punch. But the art is hit and not get hit. That's boxing, and that was the best fight he ever fought. The fight was tough, and he beat him with no problem. In the middle of the ring, he was beautiful. I just don't like when he gets on the ropes for too long. So again, this is coming from one of the greatest fighters in history, who is also a technical savant, but in the ultimate offensive sense. Who, if anybody knows the sweet science, it is Tyson. This is what he has to say. And this is all I've been saying when it comes to the best that Shakur can be and the best that this sport can be. This is what it means to box. Sure, did he stay on the ropes too long, as Tyson said? Yeah, as some of you all pointed out as well in your own opinions about the fight. Could he have been more movement driven? Could he have taken a little bit less punishment by not being so comfortable as to operate on the ropes? Yes, he could. But with all that being said, this brother, from Tyson's word himself, from Tyson's mouth himself, Shakur handles Zepeda with the greatest of ease. And he did that in the middle of the ring. Boxing at such an insane level, at such a young age, with head movement, defense, and offense blended in the most refined sense up until this point in Shakur's career. This is the mark. And like I said, I think I said this in the past. There are fights in fighters' careers They are a turning point as to what they can become. They are a litmus test. No, not even a litmus test. They are the glass ceiling being broken. There are certain fights in fighters' careers that are not just the arrival, but they are the absolute crescendo as to the final evolution in what a fighter can be. They are the de facto point in emphasis that shows everybody this is what this brother is at the best that he can be. This is the full evolution of what a fighter can be. This is the antithesis, the pinnacle, the top of the mountain of what a fighter and his outright skill set can do at the highest of levels. And I told you all that Shakur versus Zepeda could be that fight. And it was that fight in all its glory. And it was. And it can't get better. But this is going to be, mark my words, this is going to be the turning point in the fight, or in Shakur's career. That is going to make him into legitimately reaching his potential. Getting to that, okay, how good can you be? This was the launching point. This was the starter gun. This fight wasn't just an arrival, wasn't just shutting up the naysayers. This fight was a fight that just started the journey into Shakur now elevating into the best he can ever be. This is the start of his prime. Let's be real. This is the start of Shakur Stevenson's prime. This is the start of the best that Shakur can be. This is the start of the best years of Shakur Stevenson. This is the complete beginnings of what Shakur is going to be like during the prime years of his career. We just entered into the golden age of Shakur Stevenson for his individual time in boxing. There's no question about it. There's no question about it. You can say you can say who he can beat. You can say who's going to beat him. You can have all your debates. But in terms of where Shakur is right now, we just witnessed the starting point of Shakur Stevenson's prime years in boxing. This is literally only the beginning. It's literally only the beginning. And get excited for it, because, brother, it's looking like a mighty good time. It's looking like a mighty good time from my vantage point. I tell you that right now. But let me see. Shakur did not beat Zepeda that wide. It was a lot closer, more like 7-5. Them commentators and judges were hyping up Shakur, and I think he can beat Tank. But I think he can beat Tank, Haney, etc. I agree with it. Now, I agree with the last statement. Don't agree with the first. I had that fight about 10-2. Honestly, I had that. I think on the night of the fight, I had it on my scorecard. I think I had it a clean sweep, 12-0. And again, for me, I could see an argument 9-3, 10-2. I can see those, but 7-5 for me was way too close, because though the volume of Zepeda was there, Zepeda made it a great fight. I'm not denying it. It was a competitive display. It was a good fight, but a good fight doesn't equate to I can give you rounds just because it's competitive. It's still who won the rounds. And in my opinion, outside of a couple instances, I don't see Shakur giving up most rounds. Again, at best, like Al Booger said, 9-3 for me. At worst, it was for me, at best, it was 11-1, 12-0. But at worst, 9-3, maybe 8-4, depending on how you scored those early rounds. That's a big maybe. Because like after round 3, it was like Shakur started getting in his bag for me and didn't relinquish control. And even the instances of him getting hurt or getting wobbled, or even Zepeda having instances of landing a good number of flurries, it was still the whole of that round Shakur was controlling, outlanding, outpointing, and landing the more damaging qualitative shots on a continuous basis than Zepeda. Though Zepeda was throwing, again, as much as Zepeda always throws. It was all nullified. Most of it did not land in almost all situations. and Shakur was still right there. So for me, it was closer to 10. It was closer to 10-2, maybe 9-3. But on my card, I had a clean sweep. And you may call it crazy. And again, I'm not a fanboy. I'm not riding for nobody. I'm just telling you what I've seen and what I saw. And we can probably rewatch the fight. And maybe, I give some rounds I didn't give before. Absolutely. But that wide of a scorecard, that seemed, for me, that seemed about right. But I understand. The drive of Zepeda. Oh, he's doing good stuff. He was. And he was landing on Shakur. But it wasn't to the same consistent clip. And the good shots that he did land did not match the consistent work of Shakur. In between most of the shots that Zepeda was missing. He just didn't. And again, Zepeda wasn't controlling the fight. Zepeda was even in his own domain when Shakur was willingly going to the ropes, and Zepeda still wasn't able to do anything of real consistent. What's the word? He wasn't able to do anything even in his own domain of putting Shakur on the ropes in any real consistent format, in any real consistent formula, in any constant successive rate that outshined or matched what we were seeing from Shakur Stevenson on that same constant clip. And so that's why I say, yeah, it's for me, it wasn't close. That doesn't mean it's bad. For me, it wasn't close at all. And so, but again, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up from here. It is 2:35, going on 4 o'clock. It's another 3-hour show. My gosh, we don't mean to go this long. It's just y'all stay tuned and y'all do so much for the show that we can't help it. It's just a fact of, thankfully I got the ability. I got the leeway. Because this is what I do this is my job at this point in time. It's my work. But I can go this far because y'all help drive the conversation. But I think we're going to end it and wrap it up and send it home. So with all of that being said, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, yo, Jean-Luc Welch. Again, salute to you, Al Booger, and everybody who joined the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a phenomenal show. It was a consistent body of work and talent that we had coming through in and out of this show. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we post on this channel. Be sure to like the stream before you leave. Be sure to like the stream and be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. And please, if you want to give to the show and help support, Cash App, PayPal, links in the description to help keep the lights on and keep this show going and help us to build this show up better and better. And hey, put some money in my pocket, why don't you? And help us, help me make a living. Absolutely. But with all that being said, I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. This is going to be up on our podcast, Apple, Spotify, at the end of the show, at the end of the day. But we're going to get out of here. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. We are going to see you all on Thursday.